process that. How's this possible? It's possible through all the wonderful people who donate.
It's pretty amazing when you consider that 7 years ago, we didn't have the treatments we have now. We cure 80% of children with cancer. If you think about that, I mean, go back 50 years, we were curing 20 to 30%. This is the miracle story of modern medicine.
The research here is research that we share with everyone else because overall, we want to help all children that have cancer. What makes that possible is people that give to St. Jude. They really help us to fulfill our mission, and we're so grateful to have them on our team.
St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Finding cures. Saving children. Learn more at stjude.org.
Keeping you connected and aware. In the world, the country, and the community. And offering more ways than ever to listen conveniently. Tell your smart speaker to play 97.1 FM Talk or download the Odyssey app.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what you're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
Right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
I think it's more likely than not that sometime in the next year or 18 months, we will have a recession. I think that's a consequence of the excesses that the economy has been through, and historical experience suggests that the kind of inflation we have rarely returns to normal levels, to target levels of around 2% without some kind of recession.
Larry Summers commenting on what's going to happen here in the next few months or maybe year or so with the economy. And here's the scary thought, folks, and you've probably already considered this, but it's going to get worse before it gets better. The things that have been put into place right now to affect the national economy, your personal economy, they're not really pointing in the direction to make your life better. They are being put into place. Policies are being passed in order to position Democrat campaign promise policies better. Those are more priority over you and your existence. Welcome to the Annie Frey Show. Happy Monday. Boy, did that feel like a Monday intro. Someone's got a case of the Mondays. Yeah, the whole country. We're glad you're here with us. I'm paying attention to, we're 29 days away from Election Day right now. And what I am really keying in on is all of the big stories that are going to hit between now and when the election actually occurs that are supposed to work. Both sides will do it. That are supposed to work to distract you from the actual concern, the actual problems that you're facing when you don't have people in politics and news, people like me saying, this is what I'm paying attention to. What are you paying attention to? There are going to be, you got to think of it as like locked and loaded campaigns ready to fire off in a very precise, strategic way. Those bullets that they think at the end of the campaign season are going to push their candidate across the finish line. That's been happening in this election in 2022 across the board. That's been happening all year, where we have instances of big stories that pop up, and then the campaigns, the candidates utilize those in order to consolidate people to their side. And lost in that frequently is what actually is best for the American people, because the focus is always what's best for my party, what's best for my campaign, what's best for my ability to retain power or to take power from my opponent who's from the other side. Of course, that's the name of the game. You need to win power in order to affect change. But I'm very curious who's actually out there right now making the case that they are the best candidate for the job. It's very pervasive in 2022 politics, more than it ever has been before. And I assume that it's just going to continue to unravel in this direction, that it's just, who do you detest the most? Who is it? I was listening to Brian Kilmeade on the way in here to work on 97.1 and listening to his interview. I think it was with Charlie Hurt. And he was talking about how it's, you have to make sure that the division between the two options is so clear that you have to hate one so you support the other. I think it's kind of naive to be like, why can't we all just say nice things about what we would do and forget it? That's not how the game works. That's not how it's played. You'll hear people on the left, you'll hear political analysts come on to your television screen or into your car radio, and they'll talk about how you have to work this game and how it is divisive, but it really wasn't like this until Donald Trump came on the scene. That is a true statement, but only in that when Donald Trump came on the scene, both parties did it. Previously, it was the way that the Democrats would campaign against Republicans is to go out and say these things about Republicans and define who Republicans were. And the Republicans were supposed to straighten their tie and stand up tall and show the people who the Republican really was. But what they ended up doing the entire time was talking about what they weren't, which was dictated by what the Democrats said that they were. So as a constant, I'm not a blank, I'm not a this, I'm not a that. But all you end up hearing is the Republican Party be attached with these terrible kinds of things, boiled down to where we are right now. You're supposed to believe, if somebody were to say to you, if you were to go ask 100 people, if you were to say that one of the political parties is the racist party, what would the breakdown of that very simple, very broad, very generalizing sentence, what would the majority of the people say? Well, the Democrats have worked really incredibly hard to simplify everything so much that if you are associated with the Republican Party, that somehow or another indicates that you are associated with racism. If you know the history behind racism in this country, there was a political party that was in charge of pretty much exclusively separating people in this country by skin color. The Republican Party fought against that and led the charge to end that in this country. Now, they may have ended it politically. They may have ended it, those divisions, in a way that allows the government to look at people as separate but equal, or 3/5 or whatever the terms were during that time. The Republican Party led the charge, and the Southern Democrats worked their butts off in any which way they could to try to marginalize people who had color in their skin. Ironically, when you think about all of the Democrat pushback against the idea that we want people to show a piece of identification, to say, this is who I am. I am entitled to one vote, one ballot, and this is to prove that I am an American citizen who has the right to vote in this country. I would display that identification card with pride. Because when I am required, which I'm not in the state of Illinois, when I am required to show my license or my state-issued ID, when I am required to do that, I know that that means that everybody else, Republican, Democrat, Green Party, Libertarian Party, whatever you are in between, non-declared, when I am required to show my identification, that means everybody else who is going to cast their ballot is going to be required to do the same. That is an equalizer. There is one political party, and one political party only, that suggests that it is a racist endeavor to require people to show an identification card. And the Democrats are the ones who are so bold and so comfortable in their previously established assertion that Republicans are racist, that they can say it is unfair to people of color to require an identification card to vote. You have to ask yourself, how could that possibly be unfair? How could it possibly be the case that somebody's skin color would keep them from having the same access to an identification card as anyone else, especially when state-issued IDs are free? How is it possible that skin color could be a barrier that would marginalize people of color from voting? Here's the reason why they're saying that. Because Jim Crow laws that were previously in state in this country that were put into place to keep people of color from voting, literacy tests, saying somebody in your family had to own land, all of these different roundabout ways to actually keep Black people from voting in elections were laws that were passed only by Democrats. They invented it. They're trusting that you don't know the history, and they're trusting that their stranglehold on the media, who perpetuates these ideas and just blah, blah, blah over and over and over again, make sure that you understand two things. The Republicans are racist. The Democrats aren't. If you were to go out and ask 100 people which party is a racist party, if people knew their history and understood where many of these laws that they say publicly they're pushing back against, when Republicans say they want to have a voter ID and the Democrats are saying that is racist by the Republicans do not want people of color to vote. They want to make it difficult for them to vote. Those are originalist Democrat ideas. They should know. They made them up. The idea that truth is out there and you can find it at your fingertips on the internet, or not even have to work that hard and flip on the television, flip on the radio, and hear and see the reports that exist about who is racist and who's not racist and what is racist and what's not racist. None of that matters because they aren't reporting, they're instructing. The Democrat Party is able to dictate what the Republican Party is. And up until Donald Trump, the Republican Party just kept saying, nuh-uh, nuh-uh, nuh-uh. That's the Republican Party platform. Instead of saying, let me tell you what the Republican Party offers, instead of these slanderous lies that come from the Democrats who rely on people to be low information, who rely on people who want to vote solely with their heart and not with their head. Let me tell you what the Republican Party stands for. The Republican Party stands for equal opportunity. The Republican Party stands for safety and security of your home and of your country. The Republican Party is invested in your rights as a parent, as a grandparent, as a family unit, which we fully support. The idea that you know what's best for your child, and nobody cares in this world more for your child than you do. And you should be equipped and empowered with every protection of the right to choose what you want for your child. And before the Democrats who are listening right now and think that I am mincing words here and conflicting what we do and do support, the right of that child to exist is nobody but God's to take away. Suggesting that a parent has the right to choose for their child is not to suggest that a parent has the right to end a child's life, an autonomous, independent, living being that has been created. That is not the right of any other human to determine. It's very simple. They will cloud it. They will work to try to push you into a direction where you are not paying attention to the actual issue. They will work to try to instruct you to be distracted by the ideas and the policies of what the Republicans are saying are actually not worse than what the Democrats offer. They are actually racist. They are misogynistic. They are basically saying the Republicans are mean and the Democrats aren't. They aren't offering solutions. They offer insults. and the lazy and uneducated media that is not interested in information. They're not interested in truth. They only want to come at you with a support for a political party that keeps them comfortably in power behind the microphones and the cameras. This is the way that this has been for probably pushing 20 years. And it will probably get worse before it gets better. My opinion in 29 days is that the election is still going to be, we have to do better than what we have right now. In the words of Donald Trump to communities of color, what do you have to lose to try the Republican Party? We have policies that are good. We believe in the same things you do. We have the same foundational principles and interests, regardless of color. Your color does not discriminate you from benefiting from what the Republicans want to do in this country, which is empower you, not the government, to provide for you where the gap exists. That's what the Democrat Party does. And the only way that they get to be your hero is if you are constantly in need of a hero. We don't want to be saved by government. We want to be left alone by government. And the people who are in impoverished communities, the people who are sitting in positions across this country where their life looks exactly like their parents and their grandparents and their great-grandparents, and the cycle never, ever gets broken. Look at who is running those areas. It's the same party all the time. And when candidates come by, they will tell you in those communities that the other party wants to take away everything you have. Well, what do these people have? I was driving through Peoria, Illinois this weekend. It is a broken down disaster in Peoria, but it's not unlike any places, several of the places that I could walk to from where I'm standing right now in St. Louis, Missouri. Poverty everywhere. And it's a sad state to live in. And the politicians who want to show up 29 days out of an election, of a campaign, and they want to say, I need your vote. We will fight for you. We will work for you. What about, we need you to be the success and not the government showing up to that doorstep and saying, we're going to make sure that we keep you taken care of. These people aren't being taken care of. They're being told by the people who have led these blue cities and these blue states over and over and over again that what they have, they will lose. And they have kept them in that position so they can always show up and provide the status quo. It shouldn't have to be this way. It doesn't have to be this way. Opportunity zones, which was an idea by the Trump administration, providing an opportunity for these people to change their lot in life, and yes, even potentially change the community that they came from. It starts with the individual. Government should support, but government does not need to provide. And they've sold that and they've bastardized that message in a way that makes it so those people believe that the only way that they'll get from this election to the next election is that they keep voting the same way. If you live in one of these communities, if you see one of these communities, and you know that these communities will always remain in poverty because the people who make these promises at election time spend the time in between these elections living off the power, the authority, the economic improvement that comes to themselves, and then they come around asking for help every election cycle. Step into those areas and offer an opportunity for things to change if they're willing to vote for change. Don't overlook any corner of your neighborhood, of your neighboring neighborhoods this election season. Don't think any vote is a lost cause. Every vote counts. And if the red wave is going to happen in 29 days, you have work to do. I have work to do. We have work to do. Because what the Republican Party has to offer, the policies that exist from a conservative mindset, are better than anything that the Democrat Party is offering right now. And you already know that because you're living it. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, a very special candidate in studio with us, Kathy Salvi. She is the candidate for the United States Senate in the state of Illinois. Can she pull off a massive upset against current Senator Tammy Duckworth? Missouri folks, Eric Schmidt, formidable candidate. I'm very confident he's going to win. You want to take an Illinois Senate seat and flip it red, that's when the earth starts shaking for a better difference for tomorrow. We'll talk to Kathy Salvi in studio when we come back.
You're listening to The Annie Frey Show. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie. Second Amendment Radio is a staple of solid firearm information on 97.1 every weekend, Saturday from 3 to 4, and Sunday from noon to 1. It's Second Amendment Radio and the great outdoors. 97.1 FM Talk.
Gateway ENT, if you are, it's that season, isn't it, where your ear, nose, and throat issues, they start to flame up. Have you thought about going to see an ENT? Let me talk to you about gatewaydoctors.com, gatewaydrs.com, the oldest private practice ear, nose, and throat groups. They have multiple conveniently located spots for you to stop by here in the metro area. West County, Sunset Hills, Festus. Dr. Hardiman, who has been our friend on this show through the whole pandemic and everything, is one of the amazing ENTs at Gateway ENT. And they're waiting for your phone call to address the issue that you have put off for some time. Now, they work with all ages, even babies, and they are proudly to be in private practice, which it's set up the entire office, the entire way they provide care is set up to make sure that you are at the epicenter of their service. They're not tied to any big groups that cause them to refer or to prescribe or to do things that benefit anybody other than you. So if you're looking for an ENT, I have friends, I have family privately before I've ever been talking about them that have gone to see the people at Gateway ENT because the people in St. Louis know that they get the very best care, private, focused care at Gateway ENT. They're the most cost-effective and convenient alternative to ENT practices employed by large hospital systems. You can call to schedule an appointment at 314-843-3828. That's 314-843-3828. Online at gatewaydrs.com. That's gatewaydoctors.com.
Hey, Ed Brock, everybody. If you love Halloween like I do yourself a favor and visit Johnny Brock's Dungeon. Why shop those tiny pop-up shops when you can shop 30,000 square feet of locally owned Halloween fun? We're open all year at I-44 in Jefferson on the edge of Soulard. Johnny Brock's Dungeon, a St. Louis must-see.
CertaPro painters have powers far beyond those of ordinary painters. For example, they have the power of reliability, the power of doing it right, and the power of fresh color. And this is a great time to spruce up the interior of your home with a fresh coat of paint, and CertaPro can help. Each CertaPro painter's business is independently owned and operated. For your home or business, CertaPro can knock out a great painting project for you. CertaPro painters, the power of pro. Schedule your free estimate at CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C. CertaPro painters, proven and trusted experts in painting.
Oh, Hank, what a wonderful spider web you have built for us. I love this fabulous space we have right here in the corner of the kitchen.
Thanks, Charlotte. I think I'll build us a vacation web in the coat closet. Maybe even one in Susie's room, too. Oh, no. It's the pest control company again with those green wheels. They always kill the mood.
This is Derek, the owner of All Solutions Pest Control. Give us a call today at 636-486-7888.
If a pest-free home is your goal, call All Solutions Pest Control.
Hi, this is Thomas Helbig with the Retirement Advisory Group.
Hi, I'm Bob Kershaw, Tom's nephew. As a family business, we are committed to protecting your retirement, whether you're nearing retirement or already retired. What if it were possible to protect you from market downturns without having to make an emotional decision to buy or sell? What if you could take advantage of a strategy that would automatically take you out of harm's way during the bad years and position you for the growth opportunity during the good years?
The secret is in linking safely to the market without putting your principal at risk. By linking to the market instead of owning the market, you can participate safely on autopilot and lock in your gains without creating a taxable event. Go online at retirementkey.com for a no-obligation retirement review Learn the strategies that have helped our clients retire with confidence for the past 36 years. And just for coming in, you'll get a copy of our latest edition book, Your Key to a Worry-Free Retirement. So go online at retirementkey.com. That's retirementkey.com.
Station KFTK, an equal opportunity employer, is dedicated to providing a broad outreach for job vacancies at our stations. We seek the help from local community organizations in referring qualified applicants to our stations. Community organizations that wish to receive our job vacancy information can reach out to Frankie Fan at 206-577-2432. In addition, all listeners are encouraged to visit Odyssey.com for an online listing of job vacancies of all Odyssey radio stations.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
Plane bound west, I see her stretching out below. Land, blessed mother.
The Annie Frey Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
Yeah, she's got her scars. Sometimes it starts to worry me. 'Cause lose, I don't wanna lose sight of who we are. From the mountains high to the wave-crashed coast, there's a way to find better days, I know. It's been a long, hard ride, got a ways to go, but this is still the place that we all call home.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. We are very glad that you've chosen to spend a little of your Monday afternoon here with us on 97.1 FM Talk. And in studio with us, I am so happy to welcome Kathy Salvi, candidate for the United States Senate against Tammy Duckworth in the state of Illinois. Kathy, what a pleasure to have you in here. Thank you so much for your time today.
Well, as one of the members of the Annie Frey fan club, I'm happy to be with you too in person too. And what a beautiful day it here is in St. Louis and the entire Metro East area. I always feel at home when I come and visit. Thanks for having me.
Well, thank you. You know, it's an interesting connection I'd like to make between St. Louis and, of course, Chicago, which is if you're from Illinois and you're outside of Illinois and people say, "Oh, where are you from?" "I'm from Illinois." "What part of Chicago?" There's a lot of Illinois that's not Chicago, but we have down here a lot of the same issues in the Metro East side of St. Louis that are coming out of Chicago. Crime being one of the key factors that Illinois voters are looking to see some sort of solution to here in the future. Now, you're familiar with the Safety Act, I'm sure.
Very, very, yes, and more familiar by the day, but I don't think any one of us will be really familiar until it's instituted into the law on January 1st of 2023, and people are just pretty upset about that.
Me as a voter, I am definitely one of them. I have been told by many people in private conversations at many of the political events I'm going to right now, and they are talking very specifically about how the Safety Act we're in Illinois, once again, a test kitchen for far left progressive policies, that they want to do this in every state, that there are people calling into Illinois to big groups saying that are pushing the Safety Act, that have pushed it successfully, saying we need to make this broader, this no cash bail situation in Illinois. And I can't imagine that Tammy Duckworth, who's very connected to Kim Foxx, one of two state's attorneys across the entire state out of 102 that said, yeah, I'm good with the Safety Act. Tammy Duckworth is not the candidate that we need to support if we want to secure Illinois and this country as a law and order place to live.
You look at what's happening to the great city of Chicago, the metropolitan area of Chicago. I love Chicago. Listen, I'm a Chicago gal in every way, and I'm an Illinois gal, fifth generation Illinoisan. But when she endorsed Lori Lightfoot, mayor of Chicago, for re-election, and Kim Foxx, everybody in the suburban Cook and Collier counties say, this just shows how out of touch she is. Lori Lightfoot and Kim Fox and the Safety Act, it's already active and in place in the city of Chicago, and she wants to make it federal law, we understand. She has voted in her last 6 years as our U.S. junior senator. She's voted against every piece of legislation to support the blue. She has voted to defund our law enforcement. And moreover, she has voted to weaken our border. Every single one of the bills that has come by her to increase border protection at our southern border, she's voted against. So she's no moderate. She is wedded to the far leftist agenda of this president and his administration. And the good news is that we have a chance to make it right this November by voting for me, Kathy Salvi. So I'm going to make this pitch. I'm going to ask for everyone in the listening audience to vote for me, for Kathy Salvi, for U.S. Senate, and let's return some reason and balance to our state.
I think it's music to my ears, of course, to hear that. And, if you can vote for Kathy Salvi in 29 days and in Illinois, you can vote right now. You can go cast your ballot right now on your lunch break. Go vote right now. But if you're not and you feel like this is a passion that you have, I've talked so many times on this show about how important it is that Eric Schmidt wins that Missouri election because it's the United States Senate. Every vote counts, and there are none to spare right now. And Kathy Salvi is an amazing chance for us to really show that the red wave hit hard in Illinois. When we're talking about crime, Kathy, and my mind automatically goes to the police, the Blue Lives Matter group, the people who have been attacked for the last 2 to 4 years in horrific ways, the people who protect us and our families. They're the people who I go to and talk to when it comes to understanding, are we safe or are we not safe? How have the Illinois State Police or the police groups that you've talked to that are responsible for law and order reacted to what you've said versus what Tammy Duckworth stands for?
Referring to the Safety Act, which was passed in the wee morning hours and signed into law by this Governor Pritzker, it is going to absolutely take every tool out of the case for keeping our streets safe and our communities safe. And one thing is, with the cashless bail, just think about that. Certain offenses will no longer people will not be able to held, and the victims of crime will be in the hospital longer than those who committed the crime. And if there's people who know what this law will bring, it's those people who commit the crime. And what this has done is what the deputy sheriff, the sheriff of DuPage County has explained. He has to go now in every community and tell them, the folks in the community, how they can protect themselves and what law enforcement is able to do and not able to do. North Chicago police officer said, when asked, he said, what I do is if you have somebody in the front yard threatening your loved ones inside and you call 911, I'm able to come, write them a ticket, and then leave. But I don't have any power to make the arrest and put them behind bars and to stop that threat from being there. There's just too much wiggle room in there. There's too much discretion, and the law enforcement, they're not able to do what they learned in the academy, what they see on the streets, and that is to keep our streets and communities safe. So why should this be a political issue? Safety is not, it's a government's duty to keep the streets and our families safe. And if you look at what's happening in Chicago, you could look at the ridership on the CTA and then on the trains. People don't feel safe because there have been so many out in the open attacks and assaults. They're underreported as well. There was a gal out of the Bronzeville area who told me last week that she and her spouse are moving to Texas. And I asked her why. And she said, because too many Black men are dying, and I don't want my husband to be one of them. This is a tragedy, and we're losing population. We're losing so many people. But you can run, but you can't hide from these leftist policies, and that's why we need new leadership. The way we'll make a difference is by voting Republican this November. So I encourage everyone in the listening audience to vote Republican from the top of the ballot on down.
Yeah, and that includes in Illinois a vote for United States Senate candidate Kathy Salvi. Talking about what that officer said about having the right to make that arrest, I hear Democrats come back and say that's not actually the case. People need to read the bill more. But what actually is happening here is they're creating a very conflicting situation where many of these arrests could take place. And then there's a 48-hour window of litigation that's going to cause law enforcement to question putting themselves into these positions where their lives are in danger. If there's somebody who is acting erratically or making threats, this also, I want to kind of use this to shift into a different topic, is that this is going to cost taxpayer dollars an enormous amount of money. And the Democrats don't care about that either. They can always reach for another dollar in the people who remain in Illinois' pocket. And this is no different than that issue. Talk to me about if you were to reach the United States Senate and be a representative of all the people of Illinois. How do you protect? You've talked about how you would invest in making sure that we are a law and order state and a law and order country. But what about the never-ending money grab that Democrats feel they're entitled to for voters and taxpayers?
Well, there's 3 issues why people are going to be voting Republican this November. And it's our economy, it's crime, and it's parents who are entitled to sit in the driver's seat of their children's education. And as to the economy, Republican, Democrat, Independent, never voted before. You ask anybody, what do you go to sleep worried about? And listen. The most frequent answer I hear is everything. People are working 2 and 3 jobs. And this president and his rubber stamp, Tammy Duckworth, when they pass legislation and then they tax us, what they do is they are writing a blank check, and our children and their grandchildren are going to have to pay the price of that. And so when Biden was elected and Tammy Duckworth backed this, he allowed our country to become energy dependent rather than independent. He waged a war on our organic fuel, oil, coal, natural gas, even the cleanest of all energies. And we do not have an economy that can exist on renewable sources. Only 12 to 15% of our economy runs on that. So we need to bring America back to energy independence rather than relying on foreign oil from countries like Venezuela, Iran, Iraq, Russia. So bad policy. Secondly, what Biden did and Tammy voted for was the American Recovery Act. And that allowed the printing and spending of $1.9 trillion. We don't even have any account on how that money was spent. That was a measure passed in March of 2021, one of the first acts of his White House. And those 2 measures together are the reasons our economy is in the tank. And we're feeling it here. So there's a price of bad government, and it's called Joe Biden answering to the far left of his party and Tammy Duckworth, who's voting nearly 100% of the time. And I don't think that that's a record that deserves to be allowed a reelection. I think that is enough to say, listen, I can promise one thing. I will be the hardest working U.S. Senator we send to Washington, D.C. I will demand accountability and transparency and ask the questions that are begging to be asked. And this Congress is nothing more than a rubber stamp on everything that Joe Biden tries to sign into law with his golden pen in the Oval Office. So let's return some sanity and balance to Illinois. Remember, we had a Republican 6 years ago, and I think it's about time we elect another.
I love to hear that. Last question before we let you go, because Illinois it's very similar to New York and California, but being coastal states, they get a lot more attention than Illinois does. We have an amazing city in Chicago, the 3rd largest city in the country. There's no reason why we shouldn't just be an epicenter of business, of production, of prosperity here in the central the heartland of the United States. But we are a blue state as far as everybody is concerned in the national media. Tell me, Kathy, how does Kathy Salvi pull off the upset to defeat Tammy Duckworth? Do you believe you can do it?
Absolutely. In fact, the most recent poll, I've been given 2 polls in these last few days, that it shows me I'm only 7 points behind Tammy Duckworth. And I think this is really going to restore a lot of hope for people, because we want to all back the underdog, somebody who could really make this state turn around. Our people aren't any different from the folks in Iowa or Indiana. We want good leadership, and we have been denied it for years. And so I think this is a time we're going to shock the nation, and this Cinderella story will happen. And just imagine what we, the people, will do when we shock everybody, because It's us believing it could happen. So forget about what you hear, all the scare tactics. Put your seatbelt on and vote for Kathy Salvi for United States Senate. We're going to make a material change for all the people, the good people of this great state.
Man.
And check out a little more about me. Go to kathysalvi.com. And I will tell you, I get calls on my way here to the studio. I can't believe you got a hold of me right away. I said, I'm going to be the most accessible. I'll do a town hall in every 102 counties every single year. And I want you to get tired of this face. You're going to see me a lot, Annie.
I love that. When you come down to the southwestern part of the state, we'll have you in here as much as we can, because that accountability to the taxpayer, that accountability to the voter is what is grossly missing in Illinois. Why? Because Democrats don't feel like they need to work to earn your vote. They think that they own your vote, and they've proven that in elections past. Illinois, step up. Learn more about Kathy Salvi by going to KathySalvi, SALVI.com. Get a sign and put it in your yard. Kathy, I put a sign in my yard for you this week. I'm happy to do that. And I'm watching you, and I'm praying for you, and I'm praying for Illinois, and we can do this. And I'm so excited that you were working as hard as you are to win.
I will be Illinois senator, and I want to work for you. So, Annie, put me to work.
Let's do it. KathySalvi.com. We're going to stay connected with her in these next 29 days and see how the campaign is going. And like always, find out what we can do to contribute to Illinois' future. It's worth it. It's my home. It might be yours. If it's not yours, it's likely your neighbor. And a more competitive Illinois will make a more competitive Missouri. Stick around. More Annie Frey Show in a minute.
This is the Annie Frey Show. Follow Annie on Twitter @Annie Frey Show.
Gotta call it brave to chase that dream across the sea. Names, then they sign their names.
The Mark Cox Morning Show.
Jesse Jane Duff.
And if you don't stand with President Trump, you're an enabler of what the Democratic Party is doing to our country every day, and the rhinos and all of these conservatives that are in Washington, D.C. just for the mere paycheck.
Weekday mornings 5 to 9.
If you own a business, this has been a bumpy ride. From pandemic to inflation, I'm sure you could use a break. If your business has 5 or more employees and survived COVID, you may be eligible to receive a payroll tax refund of up to $26,000 per employee. The challenge is getting your hands on it. Hi, I'm Howard Mackler, and that's why I founded GetRefunds.com to cut through the red tape and get you the money. The team of tax attorneys we have put together are highly trained in this little-known payroll tax refund program. We do all the work, charge not a dime up front, and simply share a percentage of the cash that we get for you. Businesses of all types can qualify, including those that took PPP, nonprofits, and even those that had increases in sales. We have helped return over $1 billion to businesses, and we can help you too. Just go to getrefunds.com, click on Qualify Me, and answer a few questions. This payroll tax refund is only available for a limited period of time. Don't lose out on up to $26,000 per employee. Go to getrefunds.com. That's getrefunds.com.
Almost any business conference that you would go to these days requires you to travel out of state and spend hundreds or thousands of dollars to attend. Well, here's some good news. The St. Louis Business Expo and Business Growth Conference is just like those shows, but it's right here at the St. Charles Convention Center November 1st. If you're a business owner or you're a key employee, gain months worth of valuable connections in just a few hours. And we brought in leading experts to do seminars on sales, marketing, and social media, and the entire convention is absolutely free. All you have to do is register at stlexpo.com.
The federal government is hiring 87,000 new IRS enforcement agents. Make no mistake, with spending out of control, they're looking to collect revenue. The first target will be you. If you have not paid your taxes or filed them in years, let me help you get that target off your back. Hi, this is Lance Drury with the Lance Drury Law Firm here in St. Louis. So if you have unfiled returns, wage levies, bank levies, or tax liens, now's the time to call the Lance Drury Law Firm before the IRS calls you. Your consultation is free, so don't put it off. The Lance Drury Law Firm focuses solely on tax resolution law. It's all we do. And if you have IRS problems, you have legal problems. Let us use our tax law resolution experience to guide you and work on your custom resolution plan. Call now. It's free and confidential. Call me, Lance Drury, at 314-260-6120 or go to LanceDruryLaw.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Hi, this is Ken.
And Lori Heisey of Heisey Advisory Group. We're dedicated to helping individuals and families work toward their financial goals.
If you're retiring soon, join us Saturday at 9:30 a.m. for your Retirement Highway.
Investment advisory services by individuals through AE Wealth Management, LLC.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling Studio. Air Comfort Service is hiring licensed journeymen. Don't have a journeyman license? Air Comfort Service will help you get it. Get guaranteed hours year-round and more. Apply online at aircomfortservice.com.
97.1 FM Talk.
St. Louis is home for conservative talk.
Ooh, yeah, yeah. They say it's all right. They say it's all right.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
It's all right. Have a good time. Cause it's all right. Whoa, it's all right. Now we gonna
follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Frey Show.
Up in the lights low. When you move it slow, it feels like I'm home. Cause it's all right. Whoa, it's all right. And now listen to the beat. And kind of tap your feet. Yeah. You got soul. Everybody knows that it's all right. Whoa, it's all right.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. It is Wiggins America time.
Wiggins! Oh! Wiggins! Well,
get to it.
It was good hearing Kathy Salvi talk about some polls, because I'm talking about some polls today, too. Not in Illinois, though. I am looking at Pennsylvania, so I'm going to bring you what I would consider to be maybe the titular race as far as the Senate is
this
concerned.
Whole Wiggins America so you can say titular?
I was all setting that up because I thought that's a pretty good word, and I would like to use that somehow.
What is it that you like about that word?
It's one that I think people know what it means, but they don't use a lot, and so that when they hear me say it, they say,
"Wait,
man, that sounds really smart."
Maybe it means something different than I'm thinking.
We should probably look it up just to be sure, but I'm pretty sure it means title, something like marquee.
Oh.
And if it doesn't, then you can go ahead and write Annie Frey, not Ryan Wiggins. But this race is probably going to determine the balance of the Senate. This one in Georgia are the two really, really big ones, depending on, a handful of others and how they break. But these are the ones that people are watching the most. I'm going to start with the bad news out of Pennsylvania as far as polling goes. Mastriano versus Shapiro. Now, this is for governor. Doug Mastriano is the GOP candidate. He's a very, very, I would say, MAGA-centered candidate. Josh Shapiro is the Democrat candidate there for governor. And Shapiro, at least according to most polls, is really trouncing Mastriano right now. The Real Clear Politics average is about 11 points that has Shapiro up. However, I am required to mention that our favorite, because they're the most accurate, not because we like what they say, but because they're accurate, Trafalgar has Shapiro up by only 2. So if that race does actually break even close for Mastriano, that's going to embarrass most polls except for Trafalgar. If it doesn't, then Trafalgar will have some explaining to do why they were so outside the rest of the polls. Now, that's the bad news. The good news is on the Senate side, which really impacts us more than the governor race there would. We got Dr. Oz versus John Fetterman. And man, is this race getting a lot of attention. John Fetterman, of course, has been in the news a lot, not just for his policies, but for...
He's the second worst candidate to run for office. Guess who's the first?
I would really like to know who's the first. Is it Joe Biden?
It's the president of the United States.
Okay, well, I guess right. I thought maybe
it's a sad state of affairs we're in right now.
It is bad. It's bad. And you've probably seen the clips. You've heard some of the clips from John Fetterman. He had a stroke in May, it was either right after or right before the primary, and he has struggled ever since. So it's making a lot of news, and that I would say that's hurting him, because compared to the governor race, that race is getting tighter and tighter. Let me just show you here. In late August, Fetterman was up by 8.7 points on average. That has now been decreased to about 3.5 points. So it's getting tighter and tighter. Oz really kind of coming on strong here at the end. This race, Brad and I talked about it quite a bit. Real quick, Brad, both of these candidates, Oz on the GOP side, because the Democrats really are the same. These are two very leftist Democrats. But on the right, Oz and Mastriano are two very different candidates in one state.
Yeah, Mastriano is like the prototypical MAGA candidate.
Mm-hmm.
And even though Oz was, endorsed by Donald Trump, his campaign is more of a moderate. And so, like, one of the things you told me that I didn't really realize was you're seeing weird, like, cross vote things. Like, so people that are wanting Oz are voting for the Democratic candidate. They'll have like their sign in their yard for mayor or for governor. But then, like, you'll see Mastriano and Fetterman in the same yard, which is really weird to me.
Yeah. So
those are just real life trolls.
They gotta be, right? It's so strange that that's what's so weird about this race is that you'd think with a key state, the Keystone State, Pennsylvania.
Is that how they talking in the Keystone State?
I'm making fun of them. That's the way they say it.
The Keystone State.
Don't just say Key State, say Keystone State. It would just be like somebody coming in and being like, the Lincoln State. No, land of Lincoln.
Gosh.
In this state, you'd think that you'd have a similar, because we're talking about winning a primary. Two very different candidates, one primary is there. And so this is going to be not only an important race for the balance of the Senate, but it's going to be a key barometer really for the way the rest of the nation rolls in the midterms.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What do you think that says about like if Oz wins, but Mastriano doesn't win, what does that say about?
It's going to say that the GOP is going to have a tough night.
Okay.
Because what it would look like then is that centrist candidates were faring stronger than MAGA candidates across, and there's been a lot of MAGA candidates. So
do you think that necessarily means that, or how representative of the United States is Pennsylvania? Because to me, like,
question too.
To me, like, you look at like Pennsylvania and you look at a state like, I don't know, Arizona, they're going to have very different people in there.
And
Nevada, yeah. Very different kinds of people, very different kinds of situations. So, like, while it might say something about it, I wonder if it will actually be that big of a barometer on it.
Yeah, I don't think Pennsylvania is the bellwether state to say what's going to happen in the rest of the country, but it is one of the most key races when it comes to the United States Senate. Let's take a quick break. When we come back in the next hour, great guests as usual on Monday, Stephen Moore to talk to us about this booming economy. But Rick Santorum once again on to talk about the Convention of States project. You won't want to miss it. We'll back in a minute.
Whoa, it's all right.
Let's talk real estate. The St. Louis market is tricky for home sellers with home values going down and not selling as fast, right? Now is not the time to risk losing precious equity on your home. Hey, it's Mark Cox. That's why I always recommend you call Gloria Liu with your home sold guaranteed realty. Gloria's the best. She's experienced every type of market, good and not so good. So before you list your home for sale, call Gloria. Here's why. Gloria Liu will guarantee to sell your home at your agreed to price and time frame, or she'll buy it, guaranteed in writing. She already has the buyers, thousands of them in her database. In fact, your home may already be sold. Gary and Angela called Gloria and sold her home even before it listed because Gloria had several buyers looking for a home in that area. Call Gloria at 314-325-6888. 314-325-6888 or visit gloriahasthebuyers.com. That's gloriahasthebuyers.com.
Michael's Flooring Outlet online at igotfloored.com. These are good people who are selling great products at a wonderful value, which is why I love to partner with them to talk about the destination place in St. Louis for purchasing your flooring. If you're looking for flooring to replace something, maybe you had an issue with, maybe it's old, maybe something bad happened to it and you want to replace it, or maybe you're buying for a redo in your house, a renovation in your house. Michael's Flooring Outlet can help you quickly. They can help you plan out if you're just starting the process. They have Mohawk Smart Strand carpeting for you. They have hypoallergenic carpeting for all pet situations so that you can love your animals and understand that when you do that, they shed, they sometimes make a mess. They have products both in the Mohawk Smart Strand line and also in hardwood line that's going to withstand the life that you live on this flooring. They have multiple locations around St. Louis and easy to get to online to find out all the details, including how to get a free estimate. igotfloored.com.
This is a great time of the year to upgrade the energy efficiency in your home with my friends at Window World. Mark Cox here to tell you more about my experience with Window World. They replaced a couple of windows at my house. They were just panes of glass. We wanted to be able to get some airflow into the master bathroom. They came out, they gave us a free estimate, and then had the windows at seams installed in no time. Very professional, lifetime warranty I get, and you get an extra double strength glass on their replacement windows that's not common. So you're getting a great price, simply the best for less. They do front entry doors, rear entry doors if you're looking to replace that back door or sliding glass door in your home. They've got a great selection at Window World. They're also right now offering 18 months, same as cash financing, of course, with approved credit. The preferred window of the St. Louis Blues, 314-993-1800, windowworld.com.
KFTK FM Florissant.
Driven by the Bommarito Automotive Group.
97.1 FM Talk.
Always live on the free Odyssey app.
The war of words with Russia. On Lisa Brady, Fox News. The Russian Foreign Ministry accusing Washington of encouraging a bellicose mood in Ukraine and warning the more that continues, the harder it'll be to find diplomatic solutions. This after the President Biden, criticized hours of deadly Russian missile strikes on multiple Ukrainian cities today.
President Biden says today's strikes across Ukraine demonstrate the utter brutality of Russian President Vladimir Putin's war on the Ukrainian people. In a statement, the president says the attacks killed and injured civilians and destroyed targets with no military purpose. President Biden says the missile strikes reinforce the administration's commitment to stand with the people of Ukraine for as long as it takes, and the U.S. and allies will continue to impose cost on Russia and hold Putin and Russia accountable for atrocities and war crimes.
Fox's Jared Halpern. President Putin says the strikes are retaliation after the weekend explosion on a bridge linking Russia to Russian-occupied Crimea, accusing Ukraine of terror attacks. The president of the Los Angeles City Council has just resigned after being heard making racist comments about the black son of fellow Democrat Mike Bonin in a leaked recording of a conversation with other Latino leaders. Nuri Martinez apologizing in the resignation statement today and saying she hopes she'll be given a chance to make amends.
In the apparently secretly recorded audio obtained by the LA Times, Martinez, using a Spanish phrase, refers to Bonin's son as being, quote, like a little monkey, and goes on to say the boy misbehaved on a parade float during Martin Luther King Day, is being raised like a white child, and, quote, this kid needs a beatdown.
Fox's Jonathan Hunt. Councilman Bonin, in a joint statement with his husband, has called for other resignations as well. They say no child should ever be subjected to such racist, mean, and dehumanizing comments. America is listening to Fox News.
When a cold comes on strong, knock it out with Vicks DayQuil Severe for max strength daytime relief. Just one dose of Vicks DayQuil Severe starts to relieve 9 of your worst cold and flu symptoms to help take you from 9 to none. Power through your day with Vicks DayQuil Severe, the daytime non-drowsy, coughing, aching, fever, sore throat, 9 to none medicine. Use as directed.
Every search you make, every click you take, they'll be watching you.
Tired of companies like Google and Facebook watching everything you do online? There's actually a simple solution. DuckDuckGo. It's an all-in-one privacy app with a built-in private search engine, web browser, one-click data clearing, email protection, and more, all for free. Download the app today and get the most comprehensive privacy protection with the push of a button. DuckDuckGo. Privacy simplified.
Air Comfort Service, heating and cooling, weather.
Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Plenty of sunshine on this Monday afternoon, but today is going to be the warmest of the week with a southerly flow kicking back into gear. 82. Tonight, clouds take over. Let's keep the evening dry with showers moving in primarily after midnight. 58. Then Tuesday night, and Wednesday, unsettled times. Clouds, periods of showers, couple of spot thunder showers. Tuesday and Wednesday, about 72 for the high temperature. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Mining for truth in a landscape of BS.
One year, the first test came back with scores in an upside-down bell curve. The students either wrote a nearly perfect exam or missed almost everything. There were very few in the middle.
Mark Reardon.
I asked students each to write an anonymous paragraph about how they had studied for the test. Some of the students who had done poorly said things like, "That's a lot of work."
Your home for conservative talk.
This is what's happening in academia around the country.
97.1 FM Talk.
Happy to say that my kids are all scheduled to go to see Dr. Ty Parker at Fountains Family Dentistry next Wednesday, and we're knocking them all out at once. So that's one of the things I always talk about with Fountains Family Dentistry, how easy it is to get an appointment that works for your schedule. We're going kind of in the evening because we got stuff going on after school. And yes, they do stay open late on certain days just for those occasions. So we're scheduled for next Wednesday. My kids are excited about it. If you have kids that don't really love the dentist, I urge you to check out Fountains Family Dentistry, because after one visit, they will be excited because they will be treated like kings and queens, and they will walk away with a gift bag, and they will be happy because they get to choose whether they get Toy Story or Jurassic Park and stuff like that. So all of that is part of the experience at Fountains Family Dentistry. And if you have dental anxiety, I recommend you go there, even if you're not a kid, because you will be treated very, very well. Fountains Family Dentistry is in Fairview Heights, Illinois. Easy to get to right off of Highway 64, no matter where you live. Visit them online at fountainsfamilydentistry.com.
Mark Cox here. You've heard me talk about my friends at Whiskey Dickerson Small Batch Outfitters, whiskeydickerson.com. They design and produce a line of Patriot-approved apparel right here in St. Louis. Visit whiskeydickerson.com to find their great designs. You can shop Ultra MAGA, Let's Go Brandon, and even 97.1 FM Talk. If you like your whiskey, your Second Amendment, and the freedom to live life on your own terms, check them out at whiskeydickerson.com.
The only person who can change your life is you, but you need to know how. Listen to my show, The Del Walmsley Radio Show, where the hype ends and the help begins.
Listen to The Del Walmsley Radio Show this Saturday afternoon from 1 to 2 p.m. on 97.1 FM Talk.
Tony LaRussa here. Has your loss of energy and weight gain thrown you a curveball in your relationship? If so, go see my friends over at Victory Men's Health. Discreet first-class professionals will help you hit those curves out of the park. VictoryMen'sHealth.com. That's VictoryMen'sHealth.com.
The Retirement Advisory Group and Thomas Helbig are great people to have in your corner when you are looking at your future, when you are thinking about all the time, the money that you've sacrificed over decades of working, and then you look at the economy right now and you go, oh my gosh, what's going on? Can the plan that I had in place still actually occur? Well, ask Thomas Helbig about it. Work out with him the plan that is going to make it worry-free for you. That sounds wonderful, doesn't it? You sit down and you talk to them about where you are. They explain to you what they can do for you so that you can join the host of people. All the clients they've had never had them. They've never lost a penny. 314-993-9494. That's 314-993-9494. That's the number you call to get your free consultation where you sit down and you have no obligations to do anything. You just listen to what they have to say, and then you make the decision for yourself if it's what's best for you. Many people who listen to the show and the station have already done that. Join them. 314-993-9494, retirementkey.com.
If you use a smart speaker, you can listen to 97.1 easier than ever. Just tell it to play 97.1 FM Talk. Or download the Odyssey app for your phone and stream the station whenever, wherever.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what you're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
Right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong. I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not a married sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not married sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
Every kitchen table cost is going to go up, not down. And I realized costs are going up on food. And I was able to bring gasoline down well over $1.60, but it's inching up because of what the Russians and the Saudis just did.
It's never them. It's never the people who have all of the power in Washington, D.C., making all of these decisions, these economic decisions, passing policies that spend. It's never them. You'd think that they had their hands completely tied in Washington, D.C., and that all of these other things in the world, that's the only reason why bad stuff happens. You're not nearly as dumb as they need you to be in order to believe that. I know that. Let's get to our guest, our expert guest on issues just like this, Stephen Moore, who joins us now, a senior economic contributor at Freedom Works, author of the book, Govzilla, How the Relentless Growth of Government is Devouring Our Economy and Our Freedom. Stephen Moore, welcome back to the show.
Hey, Annie, I love that clip that you just played for Biden. I think it's almost comical that, every time the gas price comes down a little bit, he takes credit for it. And every time it goes up, oh, it's somebody else's fault. It's Putin. It's the Saudis. It's the Venezuelans. It's this, that, the other thing. It's a hurricane. I mean, this is not exactly a president where the buck stops here.
That is for sure. And it's all reacting. That's the thing that's so frustrating to me is that everything this administration is doing is reacting, which means bad things happen and then they react, but with excuses, not with action. Give us the truth of it, though. Like, where do these gas prices come from? Does he get credit? Does he get blame?
Well, first of all, you're partially right. They are incredibly reactive, but they're very existential. They believe that things just happen out of their control. But the truth is, when Trump left office, the economy was in a boom recovery. We had, 1.5% inflation. We didn't talk about supply chain problems. Do you recall us talking much about OPEC when Trump was president?
Yeah. I mean, he was working on being energy independent. That was the whole point.
Oh, we did it. Not only were we energy independent by the end of 2020, we were actually exporting oil and gas. And so, that was an incredible achievement. Biden comes in and starts closing down pipelines, shutting down oil facilities, taking hundreds of thousands of acres offline for drilling. And then, of course, the price goes up. And now we have to go begging, laying prostrate in front of the Saudis and say, please increase your oil production. And then they of course, reduce their oil production by 2 million barrels a day. And by the way, if we had stuck with Trump's policies, we have a new study at the Committee to Unleash Prosperity. People can go to the website and look it up. We estimate that the U.S., if we just stuck with the Trump policies on energy, we'd be producing about 3 million more barrels a day. Now, we wouldn't be paying $4.50 a gallon, and in some places $5-6 a gallon, if we had 3 million more barrels produced a day. And think of what that means to the economy. We estimate the economy's lost about $100 billion a year because of these Biden radical climate change ideas.
It just seems as though all of the sacrifice that this administration is pretty openly told the American people who are struggling making ends meet with the rise in energy prices that's not just at the pump. They've told us this is part of the transition. I mean, it seems as though they know that it's bad, but they're telling you this is the price that you have to pay for the Democrats to get what they want.
Well, exactly. Now, the voters are, to blame a little bit too, because remember in that debate that Biden had with Trump where he said, he admitted that my goal is to close down the American oil and gas industry. And, that's one of the promises he's kept. He has worked to close down our oil and gas production. And how do you like it, America? We're paying higher gas prices. Get ready. I mean, you're there in the St. Louis area. Get ready this cold winter for, a big increase in your utility, your home heating costs and your, for using your stove and your electric power costs are going to go up. In some cases, the estimates are, double what you paid last year. And this is only the beginning of, you're right, Annie, I love this. This is a part of the great transition. Transition to what? I don't know. But so far, I don't like the beginning steps. They actually believe that somehow we're going to run this $22 trillion economy with windmills. It's a fantasy. It's going to, look, let me put it like this, Annie. I am extraordinarily frightened about where we are as a country right now. I mean, we have an out-of-control border. We have out-of-control inflation. We have a president who doesn't know what he's doing. We have crime in most cities that are at the record high levels. We are now paying more for gasoline than ever before. We're shutting down American oil and gas. These things are all piling up on us. And I've said on your show that I think we're in what I call a mild recession. And I don't think there's any question about that. But I worry that, I've been saying, well, hopefully we can have a soft landing. But now I'm not so sure. Now I'm worried about a crash landing.
That is frustrating to hear. It doesn't seem as though there's anything out there right now that's promising in the way that it's going to redirect the direction the economy is going right now into something that's going to benefit taxpayers.
That's exactly right. So, you look, where's the growth going to come from? Are we going to cut taxes? No, Biden wants to raise them. Are we going to reduce the regulatory burden? No, Biden every day wants to make it worse. Are we going to get control of our border? No, I know Kamala Harris is in charge of that, but she hasn't done a very good job. Are we going to build the infrastructure we need? No, they're too busy building, windmills and solar panels. I mean, it's a very, very frightening situation. You have people in the White House starting from the very top that have never had any business experience. They've never worked for a business, so they're just ideologues, or they're academics, or they're lawyers. And we don't have anybody in charge right now. That's what makes me really nervous.
Yeah, it is. It's incredibly nervous. It's a nervous atmosphere that exists in the country, and political infighting and political cross-party fighting, of course, right now is a bunch of name callings. It's like the closer we get to the election, the less we take seriously the policies that have gotten us to the point where we're going, what the heck is going on in America? This doesn't look like the country that we have had in the past or need to have in the future. I do want to ask. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say one thing that. It's interesting because I've been following some of these political, and I'm not a rah-rah Republican. I'm not here to say the Republicans are the solution to all our problems, because they're not. But, it's so interesting. I've been following a lot of these close Senate and gubernatorial races, and Democrats are doing two things. They're running away from Biden as fast as they can because they see Biden's policies are so unpopular. But then the other thing is they're not debating. They don't want to debate. Have you noticed that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Because then it would have to be about policy. Or at least they'd have to work really hard to not.
They couldn't just be name calling. They'd have to actually defend these policies that make no sense. And, look, I get asked all the time, by people, do you think that what they're doing is intentional, for some kind of grand reset or what you call this transition? And I don't know if it's intentional, but if you wanted to destroy a country, what you do is destroy its currency, you destroy its border, you'd destroy its energy supply. I mean, all the things you'd want to do if you were an enemy from within, they're doing.
Yeah. And they're getting an A+ in all of those efforts. I wanted to ask you, Stephen, more about specifically here in St. Louis. It's an interesting place because Missouri is a strong red state. Illinois has been such a strong blue state, especially in national elections. Right. But when everybody talks about red states and blue states, we hear about California and New York on the blue side, Florida and Texas on the red side. We have 50 states, 50 test kitchens for how individual states want to do economy in those states with their taxpayer dollars. Tell me how you, as an economist, look at these 50 different states. Like, what do you see on paper statistically that people in our federal government should say, look at all of this evidence, we should go this direction, be it blue state or red state?
Yeah, it's pretty obvious at this point that, you look at where people are moving to. In almost all cases, they're moving to red states. They're moving out of Illinois. They're moving out of New Jersey. They're moving out of New York, Connecticut, California, Minnesota, and they're moving to places like Texas and Florida and South Carolina and Tennessee and Idaho and those states. So, I mean, it's clear people are voting with their feet. There was a new analysis. I don't know if you saw just the other day, Tyson's Foods is moving out of Chicago. Yep. So another major corporate headquarters moving out. They've already lost Sears. They've already lost Citadel. They've already lost 2 or 3 other major, companies that have moved out. I think Exxon just recently moved out of Chicago. And so it's a really, it's a heartbreaking thing to see. And these states that are doing well, including Missouri, are states that have low taxes. They have less regulation. They are right-to-work states. And now Missouri is a right-to-work state, is it not?
I don't think that actually ended up going through. There's been a lot of talk about that, but I don't think that they are. I'm not 100. I'm 95% sure about that.
Yeah, well, if you want Missouri to grow faster, you want St. Louis to become a more prosperous place, you need to become right to work, because a lot of companies won't even think about moving to a state that isn't right to work. And by the way, right to work does not mean anti-union. You can still have unions. You just have to make sure that you just have to give the workers the right to join the union or not. You can't force them into it. And how could anybody be against that, right? And so, look, the red states. And there was another study that just came out that showed like where the kind of young people are moving to. The upwardly mobile young people are successful entrepreneurs and, successful in their businesses. And guess what? They too are now moving. It used to be, young people wanted to live in Chicago or San Francisco or Los Angeles or New York. Guess what? Now they're moving out of these places too.
It just, I mean, you could just watch the U-Hauls and understand what is working and what is not. And I'll add to the right to work conversation in the state of Illinois. I don't know if you're familiar with Amendment 1 on the ballot.
Oh, it's a disaster. Complete disaster.
Do you know about it?
Is this the one that would basically give you almost a constitutional right to, it does something that basically cements in place the forced union policy.
Yes. And it would eliminate the possibility for Illinois to ever become a right to work state.
That would be a disaster. Anybody listening to the show, if you live in Illinois, I don't care if you're, Democrat, Republican, black, white, Hispanic, whatever, that would be total disaster. Everyone should have the right to choose, right, Annie, whether they want to join a union or not.
Yeah. 100%. And the idea that you would require the forcing of that makes me think that they're not offering enough to those people to earn their joining.
Exactly.
Like maybe make it more competitive, kind of like a free market system.
Yeah. So if you're a member of a union, that's a bad deal because it means the unions don't even have to worry about the workers, right? I saw the pipe fitter union. They endorsed Biden, even though Biden said, I'm going to destroy all the pipelines. So the union leadership has been bought off by a lot of the Democratic politicians, but they're not always doing what's best for the workers, Annie.
Yeah. And so interesting for me in my personal conversations, they won't ever go public with it, but I speak with a lot of union workers, especially steel workers right across the river at Granite City Steel Mill, where Donald Trump came and spoke in 2017. They loved Trump. They can't stand the way their union leadership is taking them, and they vote differently than their union certainly represents. Stephen Moore, always a pleasure to have you here. Thank you so much. There's always plenty to discuss. That's for sure.
Thanks, Annie. Talk to you soon.
Yep.
Have a great week.
You as well. Go get his book, Govzilla, How the Relentless Growth of Government is Devouring Our Economy and Our Freedom. I think that now more than ever, it is very important to understand these things in a measurable way that maybe before you're like, I'm for the free market and I'm conservative and smaller government, yada, yada. You can say those things. You can believe those things. And I think before that might have been enough, but you have to be able to have intelligent, fact-based decisions with anybody who comes across your way and wants to discuss the disgusting economic situation our country is in right now. Stephen Moore's book will help you do that. Govzilla, How the Relentless Growth of Government is Devouring Our Economy and Our Freedom. You want to know about big government? This is destination reading stuff for you. So check it out. Let's take a quick break and talk to Rick Santorum and the Convention of States project that he is working closely with. You will be very interested to hear what he has to say about this. Don't go away.
The Annie Frey Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
Missionaries in a foreign field. For some reason I can't explain. Once you've gone, it was never alone. This word, that was when I
97.1, your continuing home of free speech in St. Louis. It's free and fair. 97.1 FM Talk. Keep it locked in right here. The place for discussion. The place for ideas.
So this weekend, I hosted an amazing event in the Metro East, a huge event, and it required me to get dressed in a formal gown and get all dolled up. And it's really important for me to convey to you that when I am in a position where I'm not healthy, when I know that I'm overweight, especially, post-baby or post-COVID, probably put on 10 pounds or so through the course of 2 years of COVID, that every time I would have to get dolled up or go somewhere and know that I was going to be in front of people, I would be self-conscious about it. Slim 180 got me from the place of being self-conscious and worrying about how I was presenting myself, knowing that I was not as healthy as I needed to be. They moved me to the place where that was a great opportunity to get all dolled up and to wear a pretty dress and be confident in front of people, knowing that I was healthy. I want you to give yourself the opportunity to have a conversation with Slim 180 to get you to the place where you're healthier, to get you to the place where you have the confidence to go in your closet and be excited about what you're putting on and where you're going and how you feel about you. It's a you thing, and you deserve that opportunity. Go online to learn more about what Slim 180 can do for you. Go to myslim180.com.
Hi, this is Thomas Helbig with the Retirement Advisory Group.
Hi, I'm Bob Kershaw, Tom's nephew. As a family business, we are committed to protecting your retirement, whether you're nearing retirement or already retired. What if it were possible to protect you from market downturns without having to make an emotional decision to buy or sell? What if you could take advantage of a strategy that would automatically take you out of harm's way during the bad years and position you for the growth opportunity during the good years?
The secret is in linking safely to the market without putting your principal at risk. By linking to the market instead of owning the market, you can participate safely on autopilot and lock in your gains without creating a taxable event. Go online at retirementkey.com for a no-obligation retirement review. Learn the strategies that have helped our clients retire with confidence for the past 36 years. And just for coming in, you'll get a copy of our latest edition book, Your Key to a Worry-Free Retirement. So go online at retirementkey.com. That's retirementkey.com.
Hey guys, Glover here with my very, very good friend, Dr. Kathy Maupin at biobalancehealth.com. If you have reached that certain age and you're just not feeling very well and nothing's working the way it used to work, go see Dr. Kathy. She is not only a medical doctor, she is a patient of this bioidentical hormone replacement therapy. It absolutely works. It's a long-term solution. She is an artist when it comes to helping you with your hormones. Biobalancehealth.com for Dr. Kathy Maupin.
Is your retirement income at risk if you or your spouse needs nursing home or in-home care? Hi, I'm Eric Robert, Director of Investments with the ClearPath Wealth Management Group at Stifel and host of On the Money, Saturday mornings at 11 on 97.1 FM Talk. The cost of long-term care is one of the biggest risks in retirement planning. For many retirees, a single nursing home stay can cause a significant reduction in assets that can permanently reduce your retirement income. Fortunately, there are affordable and flexible options available today that can help you manage the cost of long-term care. Our team can help you address the risks relevant to your retirement, including long-term care. To schedule your free retirement plan consultation, go to clearpathinvesting.com. That's clearpathinvesting.com or call us at 636-695-2650. That's clearpathinvesting.com or 636-695-2650. Stifel Nicholas and Company Incorporated, member SIPC and NYSE.
If you own a house in St. Louis and you want to sell it as is without any inspections or need to make any repairs, call Chris Buys Homes St. Louis at 314-782-8000 or at chrisbuyshomesaintlouis.com and get your cash offer without any obligation, commissions, banks, or headaches. Chris buys vacant houses, inherited houses, fixer-uppers, beautiful houses, even the tenant won't pay their rent apartment. Google Chris Buys Homes in St. Louis. That's Chris Buys Homes in St. Louis. And check out the best reviews from satisfied customers. When you sell to Chris, you decide when you want to move, according to your schedule and your terms. Go to chrisbuyshomesinstlouis.com. Google Chris Buys Homes in St. Louis or call 314-782-8000. That's 314-782-8000. And get the offer you have been waiting for. Chris Buys Homes in St. Chris Buys Homes in St. or call 314-782-8000.
Need to beat inflation? Golden Oak Lending is here to help.
Inflation has credit card balances at an all-time high. Why pay up to 25% interest when Golden Oak can pay off that debt at 5.75% fixed?
Our low mortgage rates make you the winner.
Call 314-567-GOLD to lock in your 5.75% rate today.
Golden Oak Lending cured my blues.
NMLS 114937. 5.75% fixed, 6.991% APR. FHA 15-year mortgage with 20% equity and approved credit.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
But your friend could come along, thinking why not? Baby, why not?
Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
I'm thinking why not? Baby, why not? Oh, take a sip now. Take it down now. Say I. Oh, do you dance now? Sing it loud with me right now. Say I. 'Cause I believe we can fly now.
2/3 of the states petitioned to call a constitutional convention, we could take power away from the DC establishment and put it back in the hands of the American people. This plan is extremely popular because it makes sense. It puts political will and backbone into this place that we don't normally have.
So that's Senator Mike Braun of Indiana talking about a convention of states. And we're going to talk in a little bit with Rick Santorum, who is kind of leading the charge. You can go to conventionofstates.com and learn more about what they're doing to put the power back into the hands of the people, suggesting that is the government too big? We were just talking with Stephen Moore about the size of government and how the Democrats constantly have solutions for all of our troubles, even the problems you don't even realize that you have yet. Government gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and you pay for every single inch of it. We certainly cannot sustain it. $31 trillion is what the national debt is up to.
Wow. I didn't know it could get that high.
Oh, it can get higher, girl. Yeah, I mean, we're just getting started. It's the national debt, right? Not national deficit. Which one is it? I always get those confused. The U.S. national debt is at $31.1 trillion. Have you ever looked at this, Hannah? Have you ever seen this U.S. debt clock?
I have not. Is it something I want to look at?
Let me ruin your Monday. Yeah, I can show it to you. I'll put it up on the live stream here.
Ooh.
But this shows you this is active. So you can see the US national debt is going up by the millions.
All I see is red.
Well, the green is revenue, red is debt. Debt per citizen right now, according to usdebtclock.org, debt per citizen right now, this is what each person, not taxpayer, each person. So my little Molly, who's 16, 16 months old today, her debt, $93,433. Per taxpayer, that's you and me, $247,000. That's the cost to operate this monstrosity of government. With no end in sight, there's nothing that is being put into place right now that suggests that we should maybe spend less money. It's
maybe, just maybe.
Yeah, let's seriously. I said this when this happened. I'm saying it again. $10,000 in student loan debt that's just going to be forgiven. What about the people who have $50,000 of debt? Why just $10,000? Why is it that they decided we could afford $10,000, but we can't afford $50,000? Because we cannot afford $10,000 in debt to be just forgiven. Money that is owed to us, essentially, in these loans. Poof, gone. It's because they don't take these increments seriously. You don't have the ability to do this in your own home with your own personal budgets. That's not the way it works. It is, though, ironically, with your money and the United States government.
Will the Biden administration forgive my car loan that I just took out?
If they did, then you should have gotten a even sweeter car than you already did.
I know, it just doesn't make sense. The student loan forgiveness thing to me, just I don't understand it. It's not fair. It's not right.
Your friends are likely in college or they're all at that age. You're 21 years old. Hannah, do they have they ever brought up the idea that these loans are going to be forgiven to some extent? Does that issue ever come up?
No, I don't even think they understand what's going on.
Do they know? Do you think they know that it's there?
I don't think so. I don't know. We haven't talked about student loans. I think I don't really know. We haven't talked about it.
Because I think that it
might be something that I should bring up to them and say, hey, do you understand
casually
what this means? Yeah, Hannah can help.
Yes.
Student loan forgiveness. You think it's a good thing? It's not.
I think you should. But I wonder how much, like, it's interesting that it's not something that's like a compulsory subject to think we just scored 10 grand. Like, I would think that is something that would be kind of the talk of the town amongst people who are freshly going to be able to get that kind of money back. And if it hasn't, then it seems to me like the marketing ploy for the Democratic campaign isn't doing
They're trying to grab the young voters, but the young voters are paying attention more that the gas prices it takes for them to drive home and go out and whatever. They're paying attention to that, not the student loan forgiveness. So whatever the Democrats were trying to market to them, I don't think they're grabbing onto it.
This is how you can use Hannah in your future relationships, your future encounters with your kids that are going to be coming back in about a month or so for Thanksgiving break and then Christmas break. And you're going to be like, why are they liberal? Well, Hannah can help.
Are you concerned that someone you care about has been brainwashed by communists?
I'm so tired of this inflation. Thank God for the Inflation Reduction Act.
Then call Hannah Gibbs.
The Inflation Reduction Act pumps a freshly printed $730 billion into the economy.
That's great.
Not for inflation, though. On that, we can agree.
Hannah is 20 years old, completely unassuming, and available for hire as a political operative. At parties and social gatherings, guaranteed to change somebody in your life's mind without starting an argument.
Did you hear about the Missouri primary? What about it? Eric Schmidt won. You may remember him from his work as Attorney General of Missouri when he took on Biden's border policy. You're not for wide open borders, are you? No.
How can you argue with that smiley face? Stay tuned to The Annie Frey Show for more on how Hannah Gibbs can help you.
Sponsored by CajonesInc.com.
Darn right. I can't imagine how this couldn't be an incredibly lucrative holiday season, like seasonal job for you.
It'd be great.
Whenever people in our listening audience have their kids coming home, you guys, what you do is you throw the party and you just casually invite Hannah to attend. And if you invite enough people, Hannah can just be a friend of a friend who's at this party, and she'll just casually go around the room and hit the important topics.
This could change a lot for people. This could change a lot for our communities, maybe even for our country as a whole.
Brandon on YouTube says how much to hire Hannah for Thanksgiving or Christmas dinner. That's like premium. You need to have dynamic pricing.
Yes. That seems like a pretty Thanksgiving and Christmas dinner. That means all age ranges. This isn't just college. That's like a whole family.
Hannah's great with little kids.
I am.
You can bring
teach the littles.
You can bring story books, children's books that are like talking about good, strong patriotism and just be like, how about story time, kids? Come on over. Let's have a conversation about the Constitution. Here's a colorful book. I think it's great. Look, there's even more that she can do.
Are you concerned that someone you care about has been brainwashed by communists? Then call Hannah Gibbs.
Socialism is the solution to our wealth gap problems. Super cool. If you level the playing field and let everyone work for whatever wealth they're willing to strive for, you'll really have achieved a more equal system.
Hannah is 20 years old and can fix any potentially ridiculous political argument with a couple sentences and a smile.
Hi.
Hi, you are the man.
Thanks.
Traditional gender confirmation. Love it. That's the way to go, huh?
If I say no, will you still talk to me?
I wouldn't leave it to chance.
Then yes.
Now infiltrating parties throughout the St. Louis area. Hannah Gibbs. She's here for good.
Sponsored by CajonesInc.com.
The fact that sponsor kills me.
C.A. Jones, after we talked about doing that, because I said, if you go to C.A. Jones, great sponsor of the show, if you want to go to the C.A. Jones website, I said to Mike off air, who I think he's the president of C.A. Jones, I go, do you know that your website is CajonesInc.com? And he's like, yeah, that's why we capitalized the C and the A. And I was like, I love it. And then he messaged me when we talked about putting some of these promos together. He messaged me and asked if CajonesInc.com could sponsor. I'm like, yeah, let's do it.
There's more coming for Hannah Can Help.
Good. Have you done more work?
Yes, there's something really good in the makeup for Hannah Can Help. So stay tuned. Ryan Wiggins, man.
Maybe Hannah Can Help can be a featured product in the Annie Frey favorite things for Christmas thing. This should be a great service.
Ooh.
We should do, you know what we could do?
What?
Cameos.
Ooh, that's a good idea.
For your holiday, like you could do greet. Oh my gosh, we're doing it. Let me figure that out.
Okay.
Let's go to break and I'm going to set it up right now. Would you do it?
Yeah, I'd do it.
If somebody wanted to, let me see if I can set it up for like a charity or something where people can purchase a Cameo, and then you can send a message to their their non-conservative family member or whatever about a specific issue.
That would be great.
Will you do it?
Yes, I would do it.
I'm asking you on air so you can't say no.
Yes, no kidding. I have thousands of people listening right now saying, "Are you going to do it?" Yes,
I need
yes,
you.
Yes.
So here. I'm going to research it here on the break, and maybe we'll set up a Cameo for the show, and for the holiday season, or for now, because we're getting into the holiday season. It's
would
here.
be the best, though.
But because that's when everybody's home.
Yes.
One of your gifts can be a message from Hannah or somebody on the show, but Hannah for this particular issue. And you can say, like, my kid doesn't understand economics, and Hannah will put together a quick economic holiday greeting for your loved one to see if that moves the needle.
I think it might. Guys, this is a good investment, okay?
Get on the Annie Frey YouTube.
We're going to figure this out for you.
Live chat right now, and tell me if you think that this is something you might be willing to make a donation to, and we'll see if we can partner it with a good cause. I love it. I want to know what you think. Give us a comment on the Annie Frey YouTube channel, and I haven't even mentioned the YouTube live chat poll yet. Where would you expect a GOP majority house to have the biggest impact in the next 2 years? Where do you expect them to, not want them to? An economic impact, an impact on justice, on immigration, or they're not going to have any measurable impact. Go to the Annie Frey YouTube channel, vote in the poll, and leave a comment because Hannah's going to highlight those at 2:45. Let's get the votes rolling in there, and come let us know what you think about our Hannah Can Help Cameo idea. We'll be back on the other side of this break. Don't go away.
Take a sip now. Take it down.
You're listening to The Annie Frey Show. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Frey Show. The Mark Reardon Show.
Stephen Schock is an outstanding St. Louis attorney.
If the public comes to think that the government is ripping off the citizens of St. Louis, the citizens will leave the city.
Weekdays from 3 to 6 on 97.1 FM Talk.
When it comes to hiring somebody to take care of your teeth, you need a dentist. It's really pretty simple. You are looking for somebody who's going to provide the best dental care. All of the other things that go along with getting your teeth cleaned, they are secondary to getting the best dental care that you can. That's the Foley Dental Group. Go to FoleyDentalGroup.com and see all of the ways that they commit to giving you the best dental care, the best whole health care, the best dental hygienist, the best cleaning experience. When I go to Foley Dental Group, I'll tell you that I kind of bristle at the idea of going to the dentist just because I'm always worried something bad's going to be found. I'm worried that my teeth are going to ache after they've been cleaned. I have not had that experience at all. As a client of Foley Dental Group, I trust them with my care. They always make me as comfortable as one can possibly be in the dental chair, and they provide you with the full picture of what your dental health says about you. Foley Dental Group is committed to making sure that your experience is one that makes you an ambassador for Foley Dental Group when you leave. They have a brand new location right off the highway in 270 and 159, which means that if you're in the Illinois Metro East, it's conveniently located to you. But if you're honestly in the St. Louis area, this is destination level dental care. Get on 270. You'll find it super simple to get to and an amazing, beautiful facility for you to experience. The amazing dentists at Foley Dental Group. Find all the details online at FoleyDentalGroup.com.
Man, what a great party you're throwing here. This wasp nest is great.
Yeah, man, we got about 70 wasps in here. It's one in, one out.
Too bad we can't fit any more wasps in here. It looks like they're having fun outside, stinging all the kids. Oh, man, who just pulled up?
Oh, no, it's the pest control company again with those green wheels. They seem to kill every one of my parties.
This is Derek, the owner of All Solutions Pest Control. We'd love to help you out, so please visit us online at allsolutionspestcontrol.com.
If a pest-free home is your goal, call All Solutions Pest Control.
You had a solid retirement dream, sell your home in a few years, bank the equity, downsize, and travel. But inflation and recession has you wondering if all your hard-earned equity will still be there. What if you could recession-proof your equity right now? You can with Truehold. Truehold will buy your home for its best current value before a recession can erode it. You get to bank all the cash now and live in your home for as long as you want. And TrueHold covers all property taxes, insurance, repairs, and maintenance. And since TrueHold pays your home's current value in cash now, it's yours to do whatever you like. Don't wait for inflation, recession, and interest rates to erode your home's value. Visit TrueHold.com and discover how much TrueHold will buy your home for today based on its best current value, not what's coming. Call 1-855-300-9993 or visit TrueHold.com. The smarter, faster way to cash out on your home's value without having to move. That's TrueHold.com.
Hi, my name is Curtis Barks with Complete Auto Body and Repair. In honor of our newest location in Cottleville, for any new customers, simply come into any of our 6 locations and ask us to pay the first $50, and we will. That's right. That means brakes, suspension, alignments, air conditioning, even our auto body work. Please come see our team or visit us at CompleteAB.com. If it's not perfect, it's not complete. Others can't compete with Complete Auto Body.
Dad, and service.
Oh yeah, and service.
He fixed the car.
Almost any business conference that you would go to these days requires you to travel out of state and spend hundreds or thousands of dollars to attend. Well, here's some good news. The St. Louis Business Expo and Business Growth Conference is just like those shows, but it's right here at the St. Charles Convention Center November 1st. If you're a business owner or you're a key employee, gain months worth of valuable connections in just a few hours. Plus, we have a huge speed networking event from noon to 1. And the best part, it's all free. All you have to do is register at stlexpo.com. stlexpo.com.
Join Mosby Building Arts every Saturday from 12 to 1 p.m. on 97.1 FM. Rich Orse and guests give insider tips about renovations, design, construction, exteriors, and more. Tune in to Right at Home with Rich on Saturdays or catch the podcast online.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling Studio. Air Comfort Service is proud to support Greater St. Louis Honor Flight. Sign your veteran up for their honor flight today at gslhonorflight.org, and for heating services, visit aircomfortservice.com.
Back in the car and back on the road. We're with you. Dependable traffic with Sue Thomas. Driven by Ambassador Midwest Floor Company. The best way to deal with in-home traffic. Experience more at Ambassador Midwest Floor. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie. This is the Annie Frey Show.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. Getting some support on the YouTube Live for a cameo channel for the Annie Frey Show, where we especially offer up Hannah, who can talk to your child or your grandchildren. I'm going to say, as far as grandchildren go, if you're going to do this for your grandchild and hire Hannah to send a message to a probably college student that you love and care about and want to deliver a good, strong, conservative message, check with their parents first. Don't overstep your bounds. As a grandparent, make sure that the parents don't mind you doing that. But there were grandparents going, heck no, I raised those kids. I'm not doing that. So when conversation comes up, Hannah, about politics in your social group, A, does it? B, what's it center on?
It does come up in our friend group a lot. It's less policy and more just straight up household issues like economy. We talk about the high prices and gas, especially, a lot more than we talk about, big things like abortion or education rights and things like that. But I would say that the older my friends and I get, the more we develop conversations about politics. I would also say that my friends know where I stand, and I do have friends that, lean the other way, but I feel like the older they get away from just hearing what their parents say, and they kind of are, wanting to dip their toe more into, the Republican side and everything. And I feel like my friends do come for me to see what I say, and I'm really happy for that. And I try to get them to not just look so much at like the national scale, but to look at our smaller local elections and let them know that they still have a lot of power as well.
Makes a difference.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have people that are pretty close to you, socially, friends, family, or whatever, that don't necessarily know what you do for a living?
Yes. And
how's that go?
It starts off, I work in radio. Where do you work? I work for Odyssey. I work for 97.1.
It's a big secret. Yeah.
And then, and it's, I've had great reactions, and I've had people instantly who look at me and they're like, oh, conservative talk. Yeah. I'm like,
what do you do?
Well, I'm just like, well, you should try to listen to our show. We're not like, we don't necessarily attack the other side, but we address facts.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's really important to say facts.
Yeah.
And, we learn from one another and everything like that. And it's funny to me when I see people scramble instantly when I say conservative, and I'm the calm one who's, open to conversation. I'll learn something from you. You learn something from me. But the left never is like that. That's never how it goes with them. It's always like, oh, you work for 97.1. Oh, you're a Republican. I don't want to talk anymore.
Brad's in here. You have had people who have listened to the show. You've been on the show for September, October, 13 months now. You've had people who listened for months and didn't realize that were related to you, that didn't realize that you were that Brad.
Yes. Family members who are huge fans of the show. And despite Annie saying, and he's probably listening right now, and I love you.
I love you too. Thanks for listening.
Yeah.
You're my favorite uncle. Isn't that it wasn't an uncle?
He was my uncle. He still is my uncle.
Your uncle.
That's good.
He didn't disown you.
But he's like, wait, you're on the Annie Frey show? I was like, yeah. You're that Brad? Yeah.
Can't you tell by my voice?
Yeah. The thing about it is that, like, one of the things I notice is whenever somebody asks me about my job, I'm not, well, you guys know me, my personality. I'm not super shy. So I was just like, yeah, I'm an executive producer on a radio show. And like, the tricky part is saying that without kind of like, I'm an executive
We are
producer.
not conceited.
It depends on the day.
Yeah.
If you missed it, you were going to want to go back to the Ask Me Anything question 125 segment from Friday. And no, I guess it wasn't that. It was the bragging.
Yeah,
it was Wiggins America. He was talking about things, the worst kind of braggers.
It was the 107.
And
it was the 145.
And Hannah says, no, it was 12.
It's 12.
Hannah says, I think that on this show, we're all pretty conceited. She thought it meant humble. And then she Googled it.
During the segment, I in the back of my mind, I'm like, conceited?
Is that
right? I looked it up and I looked at the definition. It was totally opposite of what I meant to say. And I was like,
she corrected herself.
Yes, I did.
Which was brave.
So
we were all like, okay.
Yeah.
I don't think we're conceited. But to sit here and talk about how great we are and how not conceited we are, we might be a little conceited. So we all very humbly were like, okay, Hannah. Anyway, moving on.
Usually, though, when people ask what I do, I just, start out, oh, I'm in radio. And someone usually swoops in from the side and they're like, she's on the Annie Frey show. And they're more happy for anything. So
hey, your friends are a lot more excited about it than my friends.
It's Mr. Wonderful. He's really, the one who jumps for joy.
Your friends aren't excited about it?
They don't think it's as cool as I do.
What? Why?
This is the best job.
Let's talk about that.
I don't think that they understand what it is I get to actually do, and like the people that I get to meet and the conversations I get to have, and like how many people out there actually get to like sit at home, formulate an opinion on something, and then share it on a platform that's as large as radio over, like, we're talking to people in Illinois, we're talking to people in Missouri, and not just like right around St. Louis, but like miles out. And I get to share my opinion with them and like put myself out there and share my ideas and my thoughts, and they get to hear them. That's pretty cool.
What is it that they don't like?
I don't know that they don't like it. I just don't think that they get it. I don't think that they understand.
Yeah, my friends don't understand the love I have for Illinois politics or the Missouri Senate race or things like that. They just think I'm nuts and crazy. But you know what? I love it. And I think I didn't really choose to be this invested. It just kind of happened. So that's fine.
That's good. It's because you're passionate about it. Amanda says you need some cooler friends, Brad.
My friends are the coolest, and I would never sell them out.
You kind of just did.
I'll dog on them, but I won't sell them out. They're still my friends.
Let's take a quick break here. Oh, no, wait. This is okay. Yeah. I'm so confused.
Woo!
Today has been such a... I just
such
looked
a
up at the
Monday
clock
today.
and thought, oh my gosh, I am way past. But this is actually the segment I'm supposed to be in. We've had a lot of things going on today. Kathy Salvi was on with us
was a
at
good interview.
12:25 in studio and very well versed. There was so much more to talk to her about that we didn't get to. So we're going to try to get her back in here as much as we possibly can before the election happens. If you're interested in learning more about the candidate for the United States Senate in Illinois, Kathy Salvi, have met her and had these conversations with her. And I think she's a wonderful candidate and a great realigning of how Illinois is represented on a national scale. If you think about having Dick Durbin in the Senate and Tammy Duckworth in the Senate, oh my gosh, more people in Illinois would be so much better represented by having Kathy Salvi there. And I really encourage you, if you don't know much about her, if you haven't heard about her that much, go to kathysalvi.com, SALVI, kathysalvi.com, and learn about her and ask yourself, when you study her and what she says she stands for and the direction that she sees the state going in and how she wants to be representative of a sea change coming out of the state of Illinois, man, you got to get behind that. It makes sense for people in the entire bi-state region to want to support. I'd say the same thing for our Illinoisans to be paying attention to the Eric Schmidt race. I think he is, hate to overestimate here, but I think he's pretty comfortable in his position against his competitor for the filling of Roy Blunt's seat for Missouri. But Eric Schmidt being in the Senate is good for the country, not just good for Missouri. And that is 100% the case when it comes to choosing between Tammy Duckworth and Kathy Salvi. Many people don't understand that Illinois is looking to elect a senator this cycle. 2 years ago, Dick Durbin was reelected, which means that Illinois is not going to have another chance to replace a senator for 4 years. That's the next time we'll be able to vote for somebody other than Dick Durbin and Tammy Duckworth. Get out and work right now and do something. Please, I implore you to do something, anything, to move the needle in any way that you feel is impactful. If you don't want to get connected with a specific candidate around you, I'm talking Missouri and Illinois folks. If you are somebody who is strongly supporting the person who currently represents you and you want to make sure they get reelected, you have to show up for them. This is the way that the democratic process should really play out. The people should be advocating for whom they want to represent them in whether it's the school board or the president of the United States, local, national, statewide elections. It should all be from the ground up, the grassroots movement that says this is who we want and this is why we want them. We need to be proud of the reasons why we vote for our candidates. It can't always simply be that guy is terrible, vote for this. There are good candidates out there right now that do deserve your support, and I hope you're willing to give them a little extra effort here, 29 days out, and get some more people to the polls. It's going to make a huge difference. You can make a huge difference. I encourage you to check that out. KathySalvi.com for her website. And also our podcast, if you missed that interview. If you're on the Odyssey app, rewind to about 12:25 p.m. and you can hear the whole thing and just keep listening to the Andy Frey Show there. We'll be back with Ryan back in studio in a minute. Don't go away.
If you own a business, this has been a bumpy ride. From pandemic to inflation, I'm sure you could use a break. If your business has 5 or more employees and survived COVID, you may be eligible to receive a payroll tax refund of up to $26,000 per employee. The challenge is getting your hands on it. Hi, I'm Howard Mackler, and that's why I founded GetRefunds.com to cut through the red tape and get you the money. The team of tax attorneys we have put together are highly trained in this little-known payroll tax refund program. We do all the work, charge not a dime up front, and simply share a percentage of the cash that we get for you. Businesses of all types can qualify, including those that took PPP, nonprofits, and even those that had increases in sales. We have helped return over $1 billion to businesses, and we can help you too. Just go to getrefunds.com, click on Qualify Me, and answer a few questions. This payroll tax refund is only available for a limited period of time. Don't lose out on up to $26,000 per employee. Go to getrefunds.com. That's getrefunds.com.
So on October 27th of this month, you have an amazing opportunity in front of you. I hope you take it to see Abby Johnson in St. Charles. It's Thursday, October 27th. She is keynote speaker for the Vitae Foundation's annual pro-life event in St. Charles. It's an awesome opportunity to hear a woman who knows exactly what's going on in these abortion facilities, how they market it, how they sell abortions, essentially. Abby Johnson was there, and she had a change of heart, and she has an amazing story to tell. Have you gotten your tickets yet? I hope that you'll go to adsforlife.org. And the reason why they say Ads for Life is because what the Vitae Foundation does is uses the money that they raise to purchase basically Google searches, so that when people who are maybe potentially abortion determined Google Planned Parenthood near me, they have ads that pop up to send them to pro-life centers. Get your tickets for this event at adsforlife.org.
Congress has authorized trillions in new spending, along with doubling the size of the IRS agency in just the last few months. Do you think that is by accident? No, it is with a purpose: to go after small businesses, employees, and individuals who have not filed or paid their taxes. If this is you, don't panic, just call. Hi, this is Lance Drury with the Lance Drury Law Firm in St. Louis. Interest and penalties on your tax bill won't stop until you take control. Call me, Lance Drury. I'll tell you in advance an affordable fee, which includes costs and expenses, that works for your business and family. Your first visit to the Lance Drury Law Firm is free and confidential, so you have nothing to lose. Call me today. Remember, if you have IRS issues, you have legal issues. You need an attorney. You need us, the Lance Drury Law Firm. Call me, Lance Drury, at 314-260-6120, or go to Lance, DRURY law.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
KFTK FM Florissant.
Driven by the Bomarito Automotive Group.
97.1 FM Talk.
Always live on the free Odyssey app.
A political shakeup over a secret recording. Lisa Brady, Fox News. An apology and a partial resignation from a Los Angeles official under fire over racist remarks secretly recorded.
I take full responsibility for what I said. That from LA City Council President Democrat Nuri Martinez in a leaked audio from a conversation last year using racial epithets to describe fellow council member Mike Bonin's black son.
The white guy with the little black kid who's misbehaved. The kid is bouncing off the effing walls on the floor, practically tipping it over.
Martinez, who also used derogatory words in Spanish to describe the boy, now stepping down as city council president, though not as a council member.
Fox's Jeff Panasso, Bonin and his husband have called on Martinez and others, including a union leader, to resign. President Biden warning Russia, the U.S. and its allies will continue to impose costs for its aggression in Ukraine. This after hours of deadly airstrikes in 10 Ukrainian cities. Russia calling it retaliation for the explosion on a key bridge it blames on Ukraine. President Biden's student debt relief plan facing another legal challenge.
An organization representing small businesses says the Biden administration's plan to forgive student debt for millions violates federal procedures and failed to have public input. The lawsuit from the Job Creators Network Foundation is the latest challenge. Other suits have been filed by conservative groups, attorneys, and some Republican lawmakers. Several Republican-led states have filed separate lawsuits arguing the president is overstepping executive power.
Fox's Jared Halpern. Not so fast for a deal that's supposed to avoid a potential railroad strike. The third largest union rejecting the proposed agreement with freight railroads today. The deal includes a 24% pay raise over 5 years, but opponents say it doesn't do enough to address concerns, including working conditions and lack of paid time off. America's listening to Fox News.
When cold symptoms keep you up, try Vicks NyQuil Severe for max strength nighttime relief. Just one dose of Vicks NyQuil Severe starts to relieve 9 of your worst cold and flu symptoms to help take you from 9 to none. Get some rest and feel better with Vicks NyQuil Severe. The nighttime sniffling, sneezing, coughing, aching, sore throat, stuffy nose, fever, best sleep with a cold. Medicine. Use as directed.
Every search you make, every click you take, they'll be watching you.
Are you tired of being tracked online? There's a simple solution. DuckDuckGo. It's an all-in-one privacy app with a built-in private search engine, web browser, one-click data clearing, email protection, and more, all for free. Download the app today and get the most comprehensive privacy protection with the push of a button. DuckDuckGo. Privacy simplified.
Air Comfort Service, heating and cooling, weather.
Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Plenty of sunshine on this Monday afternoon, but today is going to be the warmest of the week with a southerly flow kicking back into gear. 82. Tonight, clouds take over. Let's keep the evening dry with showers moving in primarily after midnight. 58. Then Tuesday night, and Wednesday, unsettled times. Clouds, periods of showers, couple of spot thunder showers. Tuesday and Wednesday, about 72 for the high temperature. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Stay connected to everything happening in the world, the country, and the community.
Just look at this. What is the top issue among likely voters, those likely to turn out 33 days from now? The economy and inflation overwhelmingly.
Your home for conservative talk.
The Fed is going to raise rates. That's going to be perilous for the economy. There's nothing much else they can do because they waited 15 months while they lied to us about how transitory inflation was.
This is 97.1 FM Talk.
MySlim180.com is the website. Thinking about losing weight or not thinking about losing weight, but then I bring it up and then you're like, oh gosh, it seems like a lot of work, or I've tried everything and I haven't been able to lose the weight before. This is just something I'm going to deal with. Have you considered going to Slim 180 and just talking to them, having a consultation about dropping the weight once and for all? I'm talking 10 pounds, 15 pounds. I'm talking 150 pounds, anywhere in between or above. You can work with Slim 180 to get to your goals. And there are a lot of different reasons why people choose to engage in losing weight. Sometimes it's just so you can feel better about yourself. A lot of times it's so that you feel healthier, so that your knees don't ache, your back doesn't hurt, so that you're not constantly bearing the burden of the excess weight that you have on your body. That was all of the above reasons for me as to why I finally chose to go to Slim 180 and drop the 22 pounds that I lost this spring and have been able to keep off. And I encourage you to give yourself the opportunity to hear what they have to say as well. All the details online at myslim180.com.
Updating your home with James Hardie siding has never been more popular. With all of the options available, you need a partner to maximize your investment. The rising prices on vinyl siding has made Hardie siding a great alternative. Siding Express is ready to refresh the appearance of your home or totally transform the look by installing Hardie Shake, board and batten, lap siding, or a stone accent to make it your dream home again. Siding Express is an elite preferred James Hardie contractor. Need ideas? Go to sidingexpress.com and schedule a free, no obligation consultation today.
Why are some people afraid to enjoy their retirement? And why are some people so worried about spending money during their golden years? Maybe it's because they're afraid of running out of money. Maybe they're afraid of depleting their nest egg, either through spending too much or through investment strategies that could result in losses. Hi, my name is Ken Heisey of Heisey Advisory Group. Do you have a fear of depleting your savings and running out of money too soon? Let me help put your mind at ease. I can help you create an optimal retirement income distribution strategy that helps to maximize income from your retirement savings and eliminate your fear of running out of money. Call 314-328-6000 today and schedule your complimentary retirement roadmap review with our team. That's 314-328-6000. Again, that's 314-328-6000.
IZ Advisory Group provides insurance services. Investment advisory services offered through AE Wealth Management, LLC. Investing involves risk, including the potential loss of principal.
Would you like a cleaning product that can be used in the garage, the laundry, and the kitchen, and save space in your cabinet? Hi, I'm Bruce Fabrizio, inventor of Simple Green. To learn more, visit us at simplegreen.com.
We're all on this planet together, so join Odyssey and find your one thing. After Halloween, your used jack-o'-lantern and other gourds are great additions to any compost pile. Join Odyssey, and together, each of us doing one thing makes a greener tomorrow. What's your one thing?
Download the Odyssey app to listen to 97.1 FM Talk and find content that moves you. Anytime, anywhere. The Odyssey app for 97.1 FM Talk on the go.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
You need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong. I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not a married to sweetheart.
goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio. I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
Please have a seat. Thank you very much. Let me start off with 2 words. Made in America.
Gosh. When I was editing that clip, I like jumped out of my seat when he was like, "Made in America."
That sounds like the opening to a monologue.
This week,
SNL.
President Biden pardoned thousands of convicted marijuana users, and it feels like maybe he celebrated with them a little because yesterday Biden gave a speech at a car factory and opened with this.
Let me start off with 2 words. Made in America.
Wow. Well, let me respond with 2 words. Jesus H. Christ. Biden was then heard criticizing reporters at the White House for shouting questions at him. Questions like, what year is it? And who's the current president? Also, they weren't reporters, they were doctors.
Everything but taking the good Lord's name in vain there is hilarious in comedy. And I just, oh my gosh. Donald Trump, had he said something like that, I mean, we'd all be sitting here going, gosh, Trump, you make it so hard. You make it so difficult. Why did you say that? It would be relentless. And you'd be sitting here and you'd be going, that was such a dumb thing to say. And you'd have to take the punches. And if SNL is coming out on this, it's that bad. I think that actually is an indication of how much it's unavoidable to discuss the current state of the presidency of the United States. It is very bad. Very bad. To put it in 2 words. Very bad.
Very, very bad.
Still 2 words, technically.
Technically, I guess you're just repeating one of them.
It's just, an asterisk.
You said it right there, though. You said it. It's unavoidable. That's the only reason they've gotten there. That's the only reason that CNN's been talking about inflation, because it's unavoidable. Everybody already knows it, so they feel like, well, we're not really breaking anything here, so let's just do it.
The thing that blows my mind is that it's Saturday Night Live. There's so much material there to make fun of. They could be making hay. Joe Biden's a caricature of a president. He is like a ready-made thing, like a gift to Saturday Night Live. But whoever is in charge or whoever's making these decisions are so ingrained in their politics that they can't set it aside and just laugh at the president. I mean, they laughed at George W. Bush, and it wasn't there wasn't as much vitriol and stuff toward him, but they just laughed at him. And we laughed along with it. And I don't know. I'm upset that they just don't take the bait.
Colorado Representative Lauren Boebert tweeted out last night. She just tweeted out Lauren Boebert. Now I remind you, if you're like, oh, I know that name. She is the young female, obviously. Well, not obviously, I guess. Like, that's not a Lauren Boebert comment.
Wait, what?
That's a culture comment. I mean, can you be obviously female today?
I would think that you and Hannah are obviously female. Yes.
I don't think in today's culture you can say that.
No.
Today you can't assume. No.
I mean, I would say you guys are obviously female. I don't think Brad is obviously male, if that's what you're asking.
You're just looking to take lumps now, aren't you?
I'm just trying to start a fire.
Annie, I agree. In today's culture, you can't assume anything.
Lauren Boebert, who is obviously female, there we said it, of course. She's a firebrand. She is on what many would consider in the political culture vernacular far right. That's what people would say about her. Like, she's a hardcore MAGA person, and a lot of people who are listening are like, I love Lauren Boebert. She's my favorite person in Congress. So I get it, all kinds. But she is constantly out there looking to take down Democrats and to be very outspoken and very present. She is not everybody's cup of tea, but she is certainly many people's cup of tea. So when she tweets something, just by virtue of her tweeting, it's probably aggressive. She's not casually tweeting long explanations as to why her policy for such and such thing is the best, and she'd like to have a bipartisan support for something that is supposed to be agreeable for everybody. She is throwing bombs. She tweets 2 words. Let's go, Brandon. And the left was like,
that was a good one.
This is the dumbest woman alive. 2 words. That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. And she's like, she's just sitting here going, guys, I know. Yep. It's hilarious. It's a great troll, and it's especially funny because the people who love this president, who are worshipful, I don't even think it's of Joe Biden, but it's of the Democratic machine government. They worship government. It doesn't matter what Joe Biden does or doesn't do. He could cure cancer. He could kill little baby. Oh, well, he could kill puppies. Everybody agrees that puppy killing is bad. Baby killing, we're working on that one. He could do the worst thing ever, but as long as it's not positive towards Republicans, that one side of the aisle is all for it. And it's a group of people in that side of the aisle. There is a group of people who feel the same way about Donald Trump, that anything Donald Trump could ever possibly do, it should be glorified, and that he could never possibly do anything wrong. That is a small group of people. The Democrats try to make the entire Republican Party look and brand that way. My opinion is that the majority of Republican voters, the vast majority of Republican voters, will absolutely vote for Donald Trump again in 2024 if he wins, but know that it's going to be exhausting. There's going to be a very exhausting process, but that a Donald Trump presidency reelection would do amazing wonders for the country, economically speaking, policy speaking, and that the direction of the Joe Biden presidency is going is a disaster. So take out those 2 groups of people, the far, not policy-based right, not the far policy-based left, the people on both fringe parts of the party that worship and prioritize that said thing that they worship and prioritize over common sense. I think it's actually a pretty small group of people on both sides, but they're very, very loud. The idea that Joe Biden said 2 words, made in America, should be funny to everyone, including Joe Biden. Joe Biden should be able to use that as kind of like his own personal meme going forward, making fun of the fact that he said that, but he can't because everybody's legitimately questioning his competence. If he made a slip, which I could totally come on here at any given time and slip up and say 2 words, made in America. Oh, wait, that's 3. Like, that sounds like something that could easily happen here at any given time. Speaking off the cuff, it's possible you make a misstep like that. If that happened here, if I did that, if Brian did that, if Brad did that, if Hannah did that, that would stay a part of the show probably forever. And we'd always kind of call back to it and make fun of it because it would be fun to refer to it. It's not funny for the president to be able to do that because the reason behind the context behind these types of perpetual slip-ups, it makes you question the security of the United States of America. And for the Democrats to actually step up right now and to join in pointing at the obvious thing in the room, to me, is a very big step.
They could have made this into a joke that would have gotten across policy points. He could come back out tomorrow and say, abortion, 2 words, abortion is healthcare, or inflation is flat, 2 words, and make it a thing. And he would actually get quite a bit of attention for that and be making points. But you're right, he can't do that because it actually is furthering the narrative that he doesn't know what he's doing, which everybody knows.
I have people texting me right now if I consider them to be part of that far right.
Text him back. Yes.
I got to think about it. He or she is listening right now, waiting for an answer.
If you're asking, does that mean that you think you are? Or that you're concerned that you are?
It's a fair question. I'll let him or her respond in their DM to me.
We can't assume their gender.
Because let's just say, like, maybe they want to be considered that.
Right.
And that would be a definitive example of why you are that. Mm-hmm. That is the self-fulfilling point of if you're like, man, I hope she says I'm part of that. You're there. You don't need my confirmation. If you're a little concerned about it, I think that in and of itself would be an indicator that you're not.
Okay, what's their name?
So you tell me, him or her. Do you agree with that assessment? What I'm saying about groups? You take the Republican Party and you take the Democrat Party, and you have so let's just talk Democrats for a second. You have people who represent the Democratic Party that like on the far left, the pro-democratic socialist. That's what I identify myself as. Communism is kind of the direction that they are openly advocating for, and they don't like the people in their party who want to compromise with Republicans. Those are policy-based far left people. I don't think that those people are blind to maybe the situation, how votes work, and the politics of it. I think there's a different group of people that could certainly intersect with those individuals. I think there's a different group of people who are so emotionally invested and attached and kind of brainwashed about the importance of the representation or the manifestation and the person who represents those in that win or that loss, that it's like the most important thing that exists in their life. They worship it. And that is on both sides of the aisle for sure, I think.
Just talking about the left, I mean, we could go into both, but since you brought up the left, the people who are way into policy, those people are, to me, are fun to debate because you can actually have an intelligent conversation with them and disagree and maybe make some headway. It's the people who are just emotionally attached that you almost can't debate because they don't really even know why
you
they
can't debate
believe it.
emotions.
Yeah.
You can feel a certain type of way about something and have strong feelings about it and still rationally know, like, honestly, I would say the way I feel about Disney things, to me, the opportunity that going to Disney World has provided my family is about my time with my family. Disney is just the location of it. And then I know people in that world too, that like they are 100% Disney apologists. They think everything they do is okay. And that is cultish. It's psychotic. I can criticize and do a lot of the things that company engages in. And what is provided there that is special to me is an opportunity to push everything in my life aside for a minute and spend real meaningful time with my family. And if Disney ceased to exist for us, we would find another place and still have that same connection.
I would agree with you. I am going to push back a little bit on, like, I know it's on both sides, people that are emotionally attached to personalities and whatnot in the party, and it becomes a worship. I think that there's a greater propensity on the left for people to do that, because I think that people on the left, just the kind of mindset is a greater, just a bigger percentage of people on the left reason emotionally. They use emotional logic in their reasoning. So like we do things like forgiving $10,000 worth of student debt because we think that will help out a bunch of people. That is an emotional reason for doing that. And you can understand that emotion, but they don't think through the logic side of it. And historically, the conservatives have been the ones going, well, actually facts and numbers and blah, blah, blah say this. And they're like, you don't care about these people. That's the argument. And we've had this discussion on air before too, where we talk about how the Democratic Party as a whole is better at messaging, and they are better at pulling on the heartstrings of people because they know that's what works their base.
But I don't think that to what you're saying, that more people on the left than on the right come to their political conclusions based on their feelings.
Just, yeah, as percentage wise.
I would agree with that, because it's hard to feel good about it's hard to feel good inside when the Democrat Party has successfully branded the Republicans the way they have. It's hard to, on the surface, you have to do some digging and thinking and be like, no, regardless of what you're actually calling me, I already know that what the Republican Party or conservative values have to offer my existence as an American is not what you're saying it is, but also is better. Like I know so it takes some cognitive reasoning, but I don't agree that just because you calculate your political thoughts and opinions more on emotion than on intellect, that means that you are where I'm talking about is this cult-ish that I think exists on both sides. And I would almost say, I don't know if it's equal. I don't even know how to quantify that. But the idea that, I mean, when you look at the people who are willing to worship at the altar of abortion, that, I mean, I can't think of anything more evil than that, but it makes no sense. You can't You can't have an honest conversation with somebody who comes from that, who wants to shout their abortion, who goes on TikTok and says, I haven't had an abortion yet, but if I ever could have an abortion, I'd throw a party to celebrate the abortion. I mean, I saw that TikTok video. It's disgusting. That's not that, even if you are super pro-choice or even pro-abortion, that is not a sane way to be about it. It's more than that. So I think that you can reason your political positions based on emotion without being worshipful at the altar of whatever it is that you've decided is the idol that you need to, give completely of yourself to. And there are people who do that, in my opinion, for right-wing issues as well. I think guns is one of them. I am 100% pro Second Amendment, pro gun. I am well equipped in my life, a strong Second Amendment supporter, concealing carry holder. I'm taken care of. I have invested heavily in the Second Amendment. But I don't see the best way to communicate that to people to being the guy who wants to carry your biggest, baddest, scariest looking weapon out in the open for people to see just so that you can have it out in the open for people to see. That becomes kind of a worshipful way to look at that particular issue. I don't think that on the abortion issue, that going in front of people who you are trying to persuade to see your side of things, that the first thing that you do is show them aborted fetus parts. I don't think that that is the way to communicate the message, that you become so engrossed in the issue that you're more invested in people knowing that you're air quotes, right on the issue than you are in actually bringing people into the issue to have a meaningful conversation.
It's interesting when you mention the fact that there are those people on both sides. It's impossible to completely detach your emotions. So I don't think any of us are saying
no.
There's fully rational people and there's fully emotion. There's emotion in all things, but there are people who come to those positions emotionally first and then factually second. I think that's the distinction we're making. And to me, the difference is, and both sides do this, those people that are in the man on the street videos that always end up looking dumb in those videos, those are the people who haven't really thought about their positions, and they've come to it because of either culture or emotion, and somebody comes along and takes advantage of them on both sides.
Let's talk more about this. We get your comments as well on the other side of this break. You can go to the Annie Frey YouTube channel and leave them there. Also, we might touch here on the YouTube live chat poll. Where would you expect a GOP majority House to have the biggest impact in the next 2 years? These are going to be Biden years. Economic, justice, or immigration, or you think they're not going to have, the Republicans can take the House, but they're not going to have a measurable impact. Give us your thoughts on that poll in the live chat section of the live video at the Annie Frey YouTube channel, and give us your comments about where you think some of the fringe is on each side of the aisle, and maybe if you think it even does exist on both sides of the aisle. More Annie Frey Show in a minute. Don't go away.
You're listening to The Annie Frey Show. Interact with Annie on Facebook. The Annie Frey Show. More people are landing on 97.1 FM Talk every day.
Wow, that's amazing.
It's St. Louis's radio destination for information with perspective.
That's the only station I listen to.
97.1 FM Talk, the place for ideas.
Hairsaloon.com is where you can go make an appointment for your next wonderful haircut. I love what Hair Saloon does for my husband because he comes home each time that he goes to Hair Saloon looking fantastic. And I want you to have that opportunity as well. If you reach out to Hair Saloon on their website, you can see one of their 16 St. Louis area locations. They're on both sides of the river. So find out where they are and an appointment that works for you, and enjoy a place that believes that men deserve better. It's nice to even be able to say those words out loud because of course you do. Hair Saloon remembers and is working to restore the tradition of that barbershop mentality, a Saturday morning hangout for fathers and sons that you can access at any time that is convenient to you, young or old. The Hair Saloon experience is tailored to helping you relax and prepare for whatever your world is about to throw you, and you're going to look fantastic while you do it. Schedule your appointment online. Go to hairsaloon.com.
What's up, everybody? Guess who's hosting a new podcast? No Mercy with Stephen A. Smith. Listen as I pull back the curtain on everything beyond the world of sports, interviewing influential guests, outspoken celebrities, and thought leaders across the political, financial, and social spectrum. You know me, I'll give you my unbiased opinion. A No Mercy episode drops every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. No Mercy with Stephen A. Smith, a presentation of Cadence 13 and Odyssey Studio, available on the Odyssey app or wherever you listen to your podcast.
Need to beat inflation? Golden Oak Lending is here to help.
Inflation has credit card balances at an all-time high. Why pay up to 25% interest when Golden Oak can pay off that debt at 5.75% fixed?
Our low mortgage rates make you the winner.
Call 314-567-GOLD to lock in your 5.75% rate today.
Golden Oak Lending, join my blues.
NMLS 114937, 5.75% fixed, 6.991% APR. FHA 15-year mortgage with 20% equity and approved credit.
For 25 years, ABC7 political reporter Charles Thomas gave you the straight news. Now he's giving you real talk on the governor's race.
These Democrats are into name calling. They'll call people a racist, a misogynist, a homophobic person, or whatever, because they want to distract from the fact that they've accomplished so little in public office. And it's time people woke up and recognized that. J.B. Pritzker, what's he ever done outside of being born on third base and telling the world he hit a triple? J.B. Pritzker and his people called Darren Bailey an extremist. Darren Bailey? I met the man. He's a family farmer, somebody who understands what it's like to go to work every day, somebody who's fair-minded. I could trust this guy. Yeah, a farmer from Southern Illinois. Yeah, farmer from Southern Illinois.
Paid for by people who play by the rules pack.
Hi, this is Thomas Helbig with the Retirement Advisory Group.
Hi, I'm Bob Kershaw, Tom's nephew. As a family business, we are committed to protecting your retirement. Whether you're nearing retirement or already retired, what if it were possible to protect you from market downturns without having to make an emotional decision to buy or sell? What if you could take advantage of a strategy that would automatically take you out of harm's way during the bad years and position you for the growth opportunity during the good years?
The secret is in linking safely to the market without putting your principal at risk. By linking to the market instead of owning the market, you can participate safely on autopilot and lock in your gains without creating a taxable event. Go online at retirementkey.com for a no-obligation retirement review. Learn the strategies that have helped our clients retire with confidence for the past 36 years. And just for coming in, you'll get a copy of our latest edition book, Your Key to a Worry-Free Retirement. So go online at retirementkey.com. That's retirementkey.com.
This is the Annie Frey Show. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Frey Show.
Shut up and let me go. This hurts, I tell you so. For the last time you will kiss my lips, now shut up and let me go.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. We're glad that you're here with us. Little birdie on the live chat told us today is Balls' birthday. Brad
Happy
disagrees,
birthday.
and Brad says it's
Well,
Tuesday.
according to Twitter, though, it is his birthday. It did all the balloons when I checked his profile.
So Balls was wrong when he told you it was Tuesday?
I guess he just misspoke when he told me. I don't know.
Wait, you think that he misspoke when he told you Tuesday?
Yeah, he told me that on Sunday, so.
I want to know from Balls if Balls was wrong about his birthday or if Brad is wrong about what he heard.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
Brad
I'm
seems
good
pretty
with being wrong
confident.
on
Yeah.
air.
Brad says no. He said his birthday was on Tuesday.
I'm
so
actually
maybe he
going
said
back
that.
to look to the text messages that he sent me.
It wouldn't be out of the realm of possibility that I would not know what day my birthday fell on.
So I misread it.
Oh!
So he said tomorrow, October 10th. He said, I'm freaking going to be, and I'm not going to say how old he is because can't believe he's going to be that old. He's going to be that old. He's older than you, right?
Yeah, everybody is.
But he said him and his wife were going out on Tuesday. And that's what I remembered last because that was the last date. So that was my bad. Happy birthday.
Bit of a backtrack.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, no. Full on retraction
On the
and
live
apology.
stream, he did comment and say it is today.
A lot has happened in these 60 seconds.
We've all lived a lifetime, I feel.
Yeah. How many lifetimes has Balls lived? 42. Is that right?
He'll tell
No.
you when you say the name of the person who is texting you.
So anyway, we've been talking about the different types of cult of personality, I guess you would say, that exist in each party. But I also want to talk about the YouTube live chat poll that we have today and see what you guys think. So keep your comments coming in and go vote on the Annie Frey YouTube channel. Hannah will give us the updates in about 15 minutes on where that poll ends up. You still have a chance to get your vote in now and your comment, and she will highlight some of those in about 15 minutes. Brad, I'll ask you first. Where would you expect a GOP majority house to have the biggest impact in the next 2 years? Economically speaking, justice, immigration, or they're not going to have any measurable impact?
It's going to be in the justice system. I think that what we will see is a GOP-led house will have committees, and there will be constantly members of the Department of Justice in front of them, being called to task for the things that they're doing. What was it over the past week? There was like 3 more pro-life advocates that were arrested by the FBI with guns and everything. And
if you put it all on one piece of paper and compared who's getting targeted by this Justice Department, it is jaw-dropping how unsafe it is to have the wrong thoughts in this country right now.
Right.
That is not American.
And the hearings, I think, are where they can have the most direct impact, because really all the other stuff is going to have to take Joe Biden to work with them and decide, hey, I want to work with them. And right now, I don't think that there's anybody in his administration that is willing to say, you know what, we need to come back to the middle like Bill Clinton did in the 90s whenever, the Republicans took the House then. So all these other things require that. But the justice system, they can handle that on their own. Maybe there aren't arrests, maybe there aren't anything, but they bring it out in front of people and people can see it. And that does have an impact.
What do you think, Brian?
I had to look.
Economic, justice, immigration, or no impact if the GOP gets the House.
Yeah, I had to look closely at the wording of the question because it does say the impact in the next 2 years. So not immediate, over the next 2 years. I think the answer is economic, simply because I think by the end of that 2 years, they will have stopped enough spending that we finally will have inflation under control. That's bad news that it would take that long, but I do think it's actually going to take that long.
Last Thursday, I was the host for the St. Clair County Republicans Reagan Day dinner, and Congressman Mike Bost was there. And one of the things that he said at that event, Brad, you probably remember him saying this, was he was talking about what happens. He talked about the commitment to America that this Kevin McCarthy and the Republicans, all of the Republicans had the opportunity to weigh in on this version of what the majority would do if you entrust them with the majority. Whereas apparently, I guess the Newt Gingrich contract with America didn't involve the whole party. It was more of a, let's get this group of people together and this is what we're going to do. But Mike Bost said Thursday, and I was sitting right next to him when he said it, that when we're talking about these 87,000 IRS agents that are going to be hired and to fill all of these gaps, the first thing I want to tell you, I read a Time article about this, and it says that the 87,000 IRS agents, I've talked about this before, but it says that the 87,000 IRS agents, that it's kind of a myth to suggest that the Democrats are trying to expand the IRS by this many people. They said that actually what's going to happen is a lot of people who work for the IRS are aging out and they're looking to retire. So there's a hiring deficit that's going on. And that the 87,000, I can't remember the number off my top of my head, but the number that sticks out is like 34,000 of those jobs are going to be what's anticipated to be open in the IRS in the next, 5-10 years, whatever. And so it says that because not a majority, but a large portion of those jobs that are becoming, that are referred to in that 87,000, that because a lot of them are people who are going to be retiring and they're going to need to hire new people, that is a myth. But what about the other tens of thousands of IRS agents? And I'm like, this is a type of bull crap that gets people all worked up to say, oh, this isn't true. They're only hiring 40,000 IRS agents. It sounds like a cartoon. I can't remember which one it is. But when I see it on TV, I'm going to be like, oh, that's what I did on October 10th.
Market that. You could get a job doing that.
I have a job doing this.
Oh, yeah. Forgot about your current job for a minute there.
I'm not looking. Am I? Is this how I find out? They try to say that it's a myth, that the 87,000 is a myth because a portion of those jobs are going to be rehires. We don't need to be expanding the IRS when we have a massive problem on our southern border. We need to be focusing any more jobs that we're hiring on making sure that we enforce the laws that exist there on the southern border. You have an obvious crisis taking place in this country, and then the government goes, "You're right. We need 87,000 people to the IRS," and everybody goes, "What? Like where? Why? Well, IRS? Huh? Really? You're going to come after the taxpayers in this state, in this country, and make sure that they're all going to be, super law-abiding with the system that's so complicated that you need to pay people hundreds of dollars in order to make the system work for you? What a freaking racket." Meanwhile, people are pouring across the southern border. They're going to milk more money out of those people you're going to be targeting with the IRS. Give me a break. And then the left is like, it's not 87,000, it's 40,000. And we're all supposed to go,
well, that's better.
Oh, whew.
Yeah, gas isn't
Close one.
Gas isn't $5 a gallon. It's only $4.30 a gallon. And it came down.
To get to the point I was trying to make with Mike Boss is what he said is that what is the House of Representatives' main responsibility? It's to control the purse. They are the ones who are supposed to regulate what money gets spent. He says if the Republicans, as part of this commitment to America, if the Republicans take the House, they will defund. They will not send the money to those 87,000 IRS agents. That is the first time that I've heard anyone talk in a measurable way about something they can actually do and commit to do that would benefit the economic process in the next 2 years, because you are not going to get a bill out of it could be a huge majority in the House. You're not going to get a tax reduction bill that's going to pass. A super tight Senate and a Democrat in the Oval Office are not going to sign legislation to put it into law that is conservative in the way that you want it to be. It's just not going to happen. So you can spend a lot of time. You can spend a lot of time making the effort to pass these things and say, this is what I stand for, and making the Democrats and maybe even some Republicans go on record saying, yes, I will support this. No, I won't support this. There's value in it, but you've got 2 years to prove to the country that the Republicans are more responsible with that authority and power. And then they have to act on the things that are conservative. You can't get the power that you promise and tell us how bad the other guy is doing and then go do crappy versions of Republican power. Hannah, you said you agreed with Ryan when you said economic.
Yeah, and I just looked at the YouTube poll results. I thought that would be a landslide that people would say economy. And I'm a little surprised that the results are the way that they are. For me, I thought economy because that seems to be one of the top leading issues. And I mean, justice and immigration, those are also very high issues in our country right now. But I think the second GOP, more of us get in the House, that has to be one of the first things they fix, right? What do you think?
I don't think it's economic.
Really?
I'll tell you what I think.
I thought that would be the big answer.
I'll tell you what I think when we come back. Because justice, immigration, and no measurable impact are the other three options. And what I say may not be the most popular one on there, but I'll explain to you. Well, I don't know. I haven't looked. And you said it's not a landslide.
No, it's not.
I'll tell you what I think on the Annie Frey YouTube live chat poll. When we come back, Brad says justice. Ryan and Hannah both said economic. You'll find out what I think, and we will find out what you think in just a few minutes. Don't go away.
The Mark Reardon Show.
Eva Schock is an outstanding St. Louis attorney.
If the public comes to think that the government is ripping off the citizens of St. Louis, the citizens will leave the city.
Weekdays from 3 to 6 on 97.1 FM Talk.
So the Diamond Shop in Clayton and serving St. Louis since 1910, the Diamond Shop is so good at learning you to help you make that jewelry purchase that you were seeking out. There's a lot of things that go into buying a piece of jewelry. Of course, the most obvious one is budget. You want to make sure that you can afford what you're buying. The Diamond Shop will do many things to make the piece that you're seeking out more affordable for you. One of the best is 6 months, same as cash. So if you're looking to make a purchase for a Christmas gift right now, or maybe a Valentine's Day purchase for next year, maybe you're looking to buy a ring for someone, or somebody who's considering buying a ring for someone. If you go to the Diamond Shop, you can get that process started now and work it out over 6 months. Same as cash. This is a great way to make a purchase that you can be confident in, especially when you work with the people at the Diamond Shop. They are going to do everything they possibly can and succeed at pleasing you and your jewelry pursuit. They do watches, they do jewelry and watch repair, they buy gold. They also do appraisals. For all of your jewelry needs, go to the place that the Frey family trusts. It's the Diamond Shop. You can find them online at thediamondshop.net.
If you need to freshen up the inside of your home with a new coat of paint, CertaPro painters can not only help, but they'll knock it out of the park. CertaPro painters have powers well beyond those of ordinary painters, like the power of a cut above, the power of reliability, and the power of neighborhood painters where you live. Each CertaPro painter's business is independently owned and operated, and it's super easy to set up a free estimate at CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C. CertaPro painters, proven and trusted experts in painting. Head to CertaPro.com today.
10-year-old George Haruza and his parents, with only what they could carry in a suitcase, made a daring escape from behind the Iron Curtain of communism. George Haruza and his family risked their lives fleeing communist oppression to secure the freedom and promise of America. George Haruza quickly learned English, studied hard, and worked harder. Overcoming every hurdle in his way, George Haruza is now a world-renowned surgeon, educator, and physician leader.
So I do believe in a limited government. Governments should provide for the people who are really in need, encourage everybody else to rise up to their potential, and then mostly get out of the way.
Now, George Haruza wants to bring his record of getting good things done to the state Senate. And George Haruza understands the mission. George Haruza for State Senate, a record of getting good things done. Paid for by Haruza for Missouri.
If you own a house in St. Louis and you want to sell it as is without any inspections or need to make any repairs, call Chris Buys Homes St. Louis at 314-782-8000 or at chrisbuyshomeStLouis.com and get your cash offer without any obligation, commissions, banks, or headaches. Chris buys vacant houses, inherited houses, fixer-uppers, beautiful houses, even the tenant won't pay their rent apartment. Google Chris Buys Homes in St. Louis. That's Chris Buys Homes in St. Louis. And check out the best reviews from satisfied customers. When you sell to Chris, you decide when you want to move, according to your schedule and your terms. Go to chrisbuyshomesinstlouis.com. Google Chris Buys Homes in St. Louis or call 314-782-8000. That's 314-782-8000. And get the offer you have been waiting for. Chris Buys Homes in stlouis.com. Chris Buys Homes in stlouis.com or call 314-782-8000.
Mark Cox here. If you're nearing retirement or already retired, call Thomas Helbig with the Retirement Advisory Group at 314-993-9494. He'll show you how to participate in the market gains without ever losing a penny. Thomas is the official financial advisor of the Mark Cox Morning Show.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling Studios. Air Comfort Service is celebrating 53 years of residential and commercial service, maintenance, and installation of heating and cooling systems. Get in your comfort zone. Visit aircomfortservice.com.
If it's bumper to bumper or smooth sailing, Sue Thomas has you covered with dependable traffic. Driven by Ambassador Midwest Floor Company, the best way to deal with in-home traffic. Experience more at Ambassador Midwest Floor.
Met a man wearing a t-shirt said Virginia is for lovers. Had a Bible in his left hand and a bottle in the other. He said all you're really given is the sunshine in your name. We both started laughing when the sky started to rain. Get along.
This is the Annie Frey Show. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Frey Show.
We ain't perfect, but we try. Get along. While we can't always give love the upper hand. Paint a wall, learn to dance, call your mom, buy a boat, drink a beer, sing a song, make a friend. Can't we all get along?
Is it possible that we could all get along? Is there an issue right now that is across the board obvious? We all agree on something.
Hurricane Ian, maybe.
No, people. I would say no
agree
because
on how they handle
Joe Biden is saying this is a proof positive, and saying that DeSantis says it's proof positive that global warming exists. That the cause of the hurricane,
climate change.
Yes, that thing too. They can't even agree on what to call it. Yes, but no, because people see a hurricane as evidence that something they believe in. And honestly, I don't really care what anyone thinks about climate change, but if you're going to use climate change as a way to pass a whatever trillion bill that the Inflation Reduction Act is and make the entire process about energy and clean energy and telling the taxpayers, guess what we did for you? If you spend thousands of dollars on more energy efficient crap, then we'll give you some money back in your tax credit. Screw that. I hate it. It makes me so mad. Climate change. So no, not Hurricane.
Okay.
Try again.
Here's the thing.
Try me. Let's go.
All right.
Come on.
Here's the thing. I think where we're at is that you can, with friends, complain about the same things. You can say inflation's bad, or you can say something about, oh man, I wish there wouldn't have been all that flooding in Kentucky, or whatever. You can pick things.
Was there Kentucky flooding?
Oh, bad.
Oh yeah.
Just here recently? Oh no,
It
no.
was a month
That
or
was
two
the
ago.
same time that we had flooding here, but it was worse in Kentucky. Yeah, that's right.
And you can complain about things, but the solutions to those things is where it just gone.
Yeah, I've said that many, many times that Republicans and Democrats always agree on the problem. And the only way that you can make it a political issue is if everybody agrees it's a problem, because the only thing you're selling is a solution. Democrats always say, yes, government can fix this. And Republicans always say, government is the problem. Get the heck out of the way. Well, that's what they say. They don't always do that, though.
I thought we could all agree on public safety, but apparently not.
What do you mean by public safety?
Like the Safety Act. I just, when that first came about, I busted through the studio doors and I said, is this real? I don't see how anybody could ever vote for this and think it's a good idea. So no, we can't even agree on public safety anymore.
It was interesting to me that Hannah was like, is this real? And I'm like, we just did a whole segment on it.
I still wouldn't believe it. I'm like, are you guys sure?
It was that jaw dropping.
Yes.
That this is the way Illinois is going. And folks, they are trying to do this nationwide. I mean, in St. Louis, you should know this already with Kim Gardner, the circuit attorney, who is enacting a lot of the things, Gascon and LA. These people are already enacting the type of stuff they want to do statewide in Illinois. Don't think for a second that this isn't coming to a national government near you if the Democrats continue to retain control. All right. Should I tell you what I think on the poll?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Where would you expect a GOP majority house to have the biggest impact in the next 2 years? I actually think, and I'm going to lean on my friend Jim Carafano for this, that immigration might actually be it. Justice would have been my first thought. I agree with you, Brad, because justice is more broad. Immigration is almost like a subcategory of justice. But if they are effectively able to impeach Mayorkas and put everybody on notice that you will enforce the laws. Hans von Spakovsky talked about this legally last Thursday, and Jim Carafano has said that this is the key issue, and we got a lot of key issues to face in our country. But if you listen to Hans talk about how you can't just pick and choose which laws you want to enforce. If you pass laws, they are laws. They have to be enforced. My question to him was, what do you do if the people in charge are just like, a la carte saying, I want to do this law, and that one, you can get rid of the rest? You impeach them. And if the House can, through putting this through their impeachment hearings, put out there what is actually taking place in the southern border with facts, not with character attacks and character assassination, with facts. This is what this Homeland Security, is he Homeland Security?
Yep.
Mayorkas,
yeah.
This is what Mayorkas is doing in his job, and this is what he's not doing. He has abdicated his responsibilities and duties to do the job that he's been tasked to do. He needs to be removed. If they can make that case, that could dramatically affect. They wouldn't even have to pass new laws. Like they said, just enforce the ones we have there. If we can, as a country, work to close our border, I think the Republicans and their efforts to do that would have a very positive impact on the 2024 election, which I think is even more motivating. As long as they do it right, it could also go south. So I'm going to say immigration, but I don't know if that's a very popular answer.
I just don't think that the threat will do anything. I don't think Mayorkas or the administration will respond to that threat.
No, they have to impeach him.
If they go through with the actual impeachment, then they're just going to replace him with somebody to do the exact same thing. Republicans have to impeach that guy. I just don't think it'll do anything.
No, what they do is they impeach him. Maybe the Senate goes through with it or not, but they impeach him. And if they replace him with the guy who does the same thing, you replace the guy who's making the appointments with a different guy in 2024.
Well, here's the thing, though, too. Once he's impeached and they bring somebody to replace him, he has to be confirmed through the Senate,
which would be a Republican-controlled Senate
Please.
Yeah. If you get a Republican-controlled Senate, then you have to get a more moderate candidate that will actually enforce the law. And you better believe that those Republican senators are going to be asking, will you enforce the border?
Yeah. You can't. Yes. Immigration, lock it in. Make it so.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see where.
But it could be all of them, and I hope it is. I don't think that any of them are wrong answers. This is kind of one where I'm interested in what people are saying and why they're saying it, because these are all huge areas. And Brad and Ryan and Hannah all made great points for your answers. So I don't think that there's a wrong way to answer this one.
Yeah. All right. Poll once again. Where would you expect a GOP majority house to have the biggest impact in the next 2 years? Economic, justice, immigration, or no measurable impact? We all kind of had different answers, but here is where the poll says with over 150 votes. 48% of the people said economic. 22% said no measurable impact. 20% said immigration, and 11% said justice. But we do have some comments here. Laura from YouTube says, I answered economic, but I hope all of the selections, they are intertwined. Patrick said, I agree, immigration. Until Biden's handlers change stuff, I don't think Congress can help the economy that much. JR says, can I change my vote?
What do you want to change it to, JR? Did I persuade you?
Yeah, he commented that during your reasoning. Whew. David says,
or maybe he voted for immigration and I made a bad case and he wants to change it to Ryan's. It's like that Ryan answer.
Yeah, he didn't even know what I answered. He's like, I don't really like what Annie said.
I'm going with Ryan.
Is that your burner account, Ryan?
JR. Yeah. Trying to find out who shot him.
Just Ryan.
Just Ryan. JR. David says immigration was my choice. Jaded from YouTube says I voted economics. Start drilling again and prices will go down on everything. Then I would hope justice.
Can a Republican House do anything about making drilling happen? They can't, right?
Really,
I think the president's executive order supersede that.
Yeah.
Dirk from YouTube says I chose no impact. The GOP controlled Congress didn't do much before with the Republican president. So why would that be different now?
Can I answer that?
Yeah.
I think that a Republican-controlled Congress now is catching up to where the Republican president was in the previous administration.
Yeah. Look at the alternative. You kind of don't have a choice. And the Trump factor not being in place specifically with that him being in the Oval Office, where it's like you're trying to decide if you're representing a purple district or whatever, how close do I need to be tied to Trump? How much do I have to have distance? I just think that the Democrats are really in the position right now where they have to think, do I want to be in the exact same position, but for different reasons? What's the proximity of Joe Biden to you as a Democrat? Look around and see how many people are asking the president of the United States to campaign with them to help them secure a seat. They don't want him anywhere near.
Bob from YouTube says, I meant to choose economy since that's where the House can have the most impact by budget votes. Rob says, I chose not much impact because Biden will not sign anything.
That's where you have to know and educate yourself. And I am working to educate myself on what can they do without passing a bill. Hearings, going along with what Brad said about justice, hearings is a huge, huge thing. And that's honestly what goes into the immigration part that I'm talking about. But also at the same time, listening to Congressman Boss say last Thursday about all the 87,000 IRS agents, the House can work to not fund that. That goes to what Ryan was saying with the economy. They do control the purse strings, and that can make a huge difference in what happens in those next 2 years. Regardless, I think it's very safe to say that they can have a massive impact if the Republicans successfully red wave take the House of Representatives. Another good reason why you need to go out and stump for somebody. Find somebody you believe in and lend them your support with your feet and your dollars and, of course, your vote. Interesting poll. I've never been so spread out on this and good answers from all of you guys. Check out the Annie Frey Show podcast and keep it right here for Mark Roon coming up next.
I'm not America Saint, doing what I love and more. Thanks to the Good Feet store.
I was in foot pain for 20 years, trying to give it relief, buying all these different insoles. I spent thousands of dollars. I bought all these products and not a single one worked. I really, truly needed to have relief in my feet. And the Good Feet arch supports were what gave me the relief I needed. I can wear these arch supports